Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video, we will be covering the important Nagaland current affairs for the month of May. But before we begin, I would like to share a few words of encouragement, especially for those of you preparing for competitive exams or working towards a goal in life. The journey towards success is often slower than we expect. There are days when progress seems invisible, when studying feels repetitive, and when the results don't match the effort we are putting in. During such time, it is easy to feel discouraged. However, it is important to remember that meaningful achievements are built through consistent effort over time. So just because we cannot see immediate results does not mean that your hard work is not paying off. Every chapter you read today, every note you make, and every revision you complete is helping you move one step closer to your goal. So stay patient, trust the process, and keep going. Because success is often the result of many small efforts repeated day after day. Now, before we dive into the current affairs, I would also like to make a small announcement regarding the format of these monthly videos. From this month onwards, the monthly current affairs series will be divided into three separate parts. The first video will consist of the Nagaland current affairs, the second video will consist of the news beyond Nagaland, and then the third video will consist of the MCQ part. Previously, I used to compile everything into a single video. However, as the content became longer, I often found myself shortening explanations in order to keep the video duration manageable. I realized that this might not be the most effective way for all of us to learn and understand the topics in depth. Therefore, by dividing the content into three parts, I will be able to explain important topics more thoroughly and discuss concepts in greater detail. Even in the MCQ section, I will try to provide explanations wherever necessary so that you not only know the correct answer but also understand the reasoning behind it. I hope this new format makes the preparation more structured, engaging, and beneficial. With that said, let's begin with the Nagaland current affairs for the month of May. Crime against children in Nagaland rise in 2024. Boxer cases dominate. Let's take a moment to understand why this report is important. Nagaland reported a sharp rise in crimes against children in 2024 after a general decline over the past few years, according to the latest Crime in India 2024 compiled by National Crime Records Bureau. So remember that this report, okay, it is prepared by National Crime Records Bureau. A total of 52 cases of crimes against children were registered in the state during 2024, double the 26 cases reported in 2023 and higher than the 35 cases reported in 2022. The overall rate of crimes against children in the state stood at 6.3 in 2024, compared to 3.2 in 2023 and 4.3 in 2022. A majority of offenses registered during the year were related to sexual crimes against children, particularly under the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act and the related provisions under IPC and BNS, that is Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita. At first glance, crime against children in Nagaland may not appear to be a direct examination topic. However, as serious aspirants and future administrators, policymakers, teachers, and responsible citizens, we must be aware of the social realities around us. Competitive examinations today are not only about memorizing facts, they also test our understanding of society and governance. So, according to this NCRB's Crime in India 2024 report, Nagaland had reported 52, 52 cases of crimes against children in 2024, which is a sharp increase from 26 cases in 2023. So this means that the number of cases has doubled within a year. The crime rate against children also increased from 3.2 in 2023 to 6.3 in 2024 per 1 lakh child population. Another important observation is that a significant number of these offenses fall under the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. So this indicates that the child sexual abuse and exploitation remain serious concerns and require urgent attention from society, law enforcement agencies, educational institutions, parents, and communities. At the same time, we should also note that the charge sheeting rate in 2024 was 87.2%, which suggests that investigating agencies are taking action in most registered cases. However, justice is not only about filling charge sheets. It is also about speedy trials, victim support, rehabilitation, awareness, and prevention. So what should be the way forward? First, there is a need for greater awareness among children, parents, and teachers regarding child safety and reporting mechanisms. Secondly, schools and communities, they must create a safe environment where children can report abuse without fear or stigma. Third, law enforcement agencies and courts must ensure timely investigation, speedy disposal of cases. Fourth, counseling and rehabilitation support should be provided to victims so that they can recover and continue their lives with dignity. And finally, society as a whole must understand that protecting children is a collective responsibility, not merely the responsibility of the government. As aspirants, the takeaway is simple. Development is not only about roads, bridges, and economic growth. A truly developed society is one where the children feel safe, protected, and empowered. Now let us look into another important issue highlighted in the NCRB's Crime in India 2024 report, that is extortion in Nagaland. Despite recording its lowest number of extortion cases in over a decade, Nagaland has once again emerged with the highest extortion crime rate in India 2024, reclaiming a position it briefly lost the previous year, according to the latest Crime in India 2024 report released by National Crime Reports Bureau. Nagaland recorded 72 extortion cases in 2024 under Section 308 of BNS and Section 384 to 389 of the Indian Penal Code, the lowest annual figure for the state since at least 2014. Of the total cases, 37 were registered under IPC provisions and 35 under BNS, following the transition to new criminal law framework in July 2024. The number of victims stood at 72, including one cyber-related extortion case. The state recorded an extortion crime rate of 3.2 cases per lakh population, the highest among all states and union territories, more than three times the national average of 0.9. Manipur followed with a crime rate of 2.7, while Arunachal Pradesh recorded 2.2. Across India, a total of 12,119 extortion cases involving 12,226 victims were registered in 2024. Nagaland had recorded the highest extortion crime rates in the country for nearly 8 consecutive years before being overtaken by Manipur in 2023. In 2024, however, the state has returned to the top of the national chart despite the lowest number of cases. So if you see here in this graph, Nagaland had reported the highest extortion cases among all the states and UTs in India, okay, in the year 2014, 2015, 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Only in the year 2023, Manipur recorded the highest, but still, even though our extortion rates are low as compared to all these years, in the year 2024, Nagaland had still recorded the highest number of extortion cases. Now, this report seems to present some good news. That is, Nagaland reported 72 extortion cases in 2024, which is the lowest number of extortion cases reported in the state in more than a decade. The number has steadily declined from peak 201, that is this in the year 2019, to 72 cases in 2024. However, there is an interesting point that every aspirant should notice. Despite recording its lowest number of extortion cases in recent years, Nagaland once again reported the highest extortion crime rate in the country at 3.2 cases per 1 lakh population. That is this. This reminds us that while absolute numbers are important, crime rates often provide a better picture because they take population size into account. Now, as future policymakers, we should ask a critical question. Does a lower number of registered cases necessarily mean that extortion has significantly reduced on the ground? The answer is not always straightforward. In many places, including parts of the Northeast, extortion can be a highly underreported crime. Businesses, contractors, government employees, transporters, and ordinary citizens may sometimes choose not to report incidents due to fear of retaliation, lack of confidence in the reporting process, social pressures, or the belief that reporting may not lead to immediate action. Therefore, official statistics tell us about reported crimes, but they may not always capture the full extent of what is actually happening in the society. This is why administrators and researchers, they often complement crime statistics with field reports, surveys, media reports, and stakeholders consultations. At the same time, we should not dismiss the improvement reflected in the data. A decline in recorded cases over several years may indicate better policing, stronger law enforcement measures, improved security conditions, greater public awareness, or changes in the activities of groups involved in extortion. The reality is often a combination of progress and continuing challenges. The way forward should focus on strengthening public confidence in law enforcement, encouraging the victims to report crimes without fear, ensuring speedy investigation and prosecution, promoting digital payment systems that reduce cash based coercion, and creating an environment where businesses and citizens can operate freely without intimidation. The larger lesson for us as aspirants is that crime statistics should always be interpreted carefully. Numbers are important, but understanding the social, economic, and governance context behind those numbers is equally important. A good administrator does not look only at the data, he or she also tries to understand the reality behind the data. Therefore, the key takeaway from this report is not merely that extortion cases have declined. The real takeaway is that Nagaland has made some progress, but sustained efforts are still required to ensure that every citizen and business can function without fear, coercion, or illegal demands. So, some facts to remember from this report is that NCERB Crime in India Report 2024, Nagaland recorded 72 extortion cases in the year 2024, which is the lowest annual figure since at least 2014, and extortion rate was at 3.2 per lakh population, which is the highest in India, and national average was at 0.9 per lakh population. And extortion, it falls under section 308 of BNS, that is Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023, and under section 383 of Indian Penal Code. Now, looking at another report from NCRB's Crime in India 2024 report, according to this report, Nagaland recorded one of the lowest number of offenses against women and children in the country during 2024. Under this category, the state registered only 36 cases, making it one of the lowest among all the states in India. At first glance, this appears to be a positive development. A lower number of crimes against vulnerable sections of society, such as women and children, generally indicate a safer social environment and stronger community protection mechanisms. However, as aspirants, we should not stop at simple memorizing the numbers. We should try to understand what these statistics tell us about society and governance. One notable point from the report is that among the offenses registered in Nagaland, rape constituted the largest category. This was followed by offenses such as assault on women with intent to outrage modesty, and then sexual harassment and cruelty by husband and relatives. This teaches us an important lesson. Even in places where the overall crime rate is low, crimes affecting the dignity, safety, and rights of women continue to exist. Therefore, the goal of governance should not merely be reducing crime numbers, but ensuring that every individual, especially women and children, can live without fear with equal opportunities. This report also highlights an interesting contrast between Nagaland and the national picture. Across India, cruelty by husband or relatives accounted for the largest share of crimes against women. This reminds us that while different regions may face different challenges, issues relating to gender justice and protection of vulnerable groups remain national concerns. From a policy perspective, the way forward lies in strengthening awareness, promoting gender sensitivity, ensuring effective implementation of laws, improving access to justice, and creating safe spaces in homes, schools, workplaces, and public areas. For us as competitive exams aspirants, the most important takeaway is that development should not be measured only in terms of economic indicators. Social indicators such as women's safety, child protection, access to justice, and human dignity are equally important measures of society's progress. Therefore, whenever you come across such reports, do not view them merely as crime statistics. View them as indicators of the health of our social institutions, governance systems, and collective responsibility towards protecting vulnerable sections of society. So here's another report by NCRB, which shows that statistically Nagaland remains safest for women. That is, Nagaland had retained the lowest crime rate against women among states and UTs in India, reinforcing its position as the safest state for women according to the latest Crime in India 2024 report by NCRB. The data showed that Nagaland had registered 56 cases of crime against women in 2024, with the mid-year female population estimated at 10.9 lakh. The state's crime rate stood at 5.1 per lakh women population, which is the lowest among all the states and UTs in India, while the national average stood at 64.6. In 2023, the state had also recorded the lowest rate at 5.2. In contrast, some of the highest crime rates in India were recorded in Delhi, followed by Telangana and Odisha. In absolute terms, the lowest cases reported was in Lakshadweep, followed by Ladakh. Among the northeastern states, Assam recorded the highest crime rate at 59.3, Manipur at 12, Arunachal Pradesh at 41.8, Meghalaya at 3.8.9, Mizoram 41.7, Sikkim at 39.7, and Tripura at 34.7. Across India, the NCRB recorded 4,41,534 cases of crime against women in 2024, a 1.5% decline from 4,48,211 cases in 2023. See, even though the official numbers they remain low, that is consistently under 100 cases annually, multiple indicators suggest significant underreported. Okay, so Women Helpline, that is 181, received over 2 lakh calls since 2016, but only approx 3,400 were converted into formal cases. That means only 1 point something percent, okay, of the cases out of 100% were reported as formal cases. That is very low. One-stop centers assisted over 1,700 survivors. In one example, the Dimapur Women Police Station converted only 11% of domestic violence complaints in the FIRC. A 2025 statewide survey by Sisterhood Network found that 50.8% had experienced gender-based violence, and among survivors, 64% did not report it formally, citing stigma, fear, distrust in institutions, and lack of support. Over half experienced violence before age 18, and many cases occurred at home. So, in short, even though the Nagaland maintains very low official crime rates against women with relatively good investigation and conviction rates, but evidence points to substantial underreporting due to social, cultural, and institutional barriers. The gap between helpline or support service data and formal cases remains wide. So even though official numbers are low, we must focus on making society even safer. So it can be done by building more trust in police and justice system, increasing awareness so that women feel confident to report crimes, strengthening support systems like one-stop centers and women helplines, addressing deep-rooted social and cultural barriers. Remember that low crime statistics are good, but they should not make us complacent. Real safety comes when every woman feels secure enough to raise her voice without fear. So even though this data is encouraging because it shows that Nagaland continues to remain one of the safest states for women in India, however, this report also mentions that important reality, that is, there is significant underreporting of crimes against women. Many victims they do not come forward due to social stigma, fear, lack of trust in institutions, or family pressure. Just now we had discussed how Nagaland has maintained the lowest crime rate against women in the country. Now looking into another encouraging statistic from the same NCRB 2024 report. Here, officially Nagaland has once again emerged as a corruption-free state in 2024. According to the National Crime Reports Bureau, the state did not register even a single fresh graft case during the entire year, that is, zero fresh graft cases during 2024. So, graft cases simply mean corruption related offenses, mainly bribery, misuse of public offense, or illegal gratification taken by public servants. So, these graft cases are registered under the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988 and related provisions of the Indian Penal Code. So this is the second time in the last 3 years the Nagaland has reported zero new corruption cases, the first being in 2022. So if you see here this one. 2022 0 and 2024 0. So this is the second time. The report also shows that while 19 old cases were pending investigation at the beginning of the year, no new cases were added, and the state's anti-corruption bureau, vigilance department, and local yukta, they did not register any fresh complaints in year 2024. At the national level, 4,053 corruption cases were registered across India in 2024, almost the same as the previous year. But when we look at Nagaland, the official figure stands at zero new cases. However, we must understand the reality behind these numbers. In many parts of India, especially in states like Nagaland, the actual level of corruption may be quite different from what the official records show. There is often significant underreporting of corruption cases. Many people they do not complain because they feel it useless, they fear harassment, they do not trust the system, or because corruption has become normalized in day-to-day dealings. Sometimes cases are managed informally through influence or compromise and never reach the official reports. So while the report shows a clean picture, the ground reality can be very different. So as someone who is viewing this report, or as someone who is preparing for competitive exams, why should you be aware of such reports? Because these NCRB statistics are very important. Okay. So questions may be asked on state-wise performance, comparative analysis, and governance indicators. More importantly, as future administrators, you should develop the habit of looking at official data critically. You must learn to appreciate the positive side that some states are able to maintain better law and order while also understanding the limitations of data such as underreporting, thinking about the way forward. So the way forward is to strengthen institutions, increase transparency, encourage people to report corruption without fear, and ensure speedy investigation and punishment. Low official numbers are good only when they reflect genuine cleanliness in the system, not just poor reporting. So even though Nagaland continues to show positive indicators in both women's safety and corruption control, according to the official data, but we must keep working towards making these numbers truly reflect the ground reality. The same NCRB report brings another positive picture for Nagaland. In 2024, the state recorded only 44 accidental deaths, which is a sharp decline of nearly 39% from 72 deaths in 2023. So this gives Nagaland the lowest accidental death rate in the entire country at just 1.9 per lakh population compared to the national average of 33.3. So out of these 44 deaths, 26 were caused by traffic accidents, making road crashes the leading cause. Along with this, Nagaland also recorded a very sharp fall in suicides. Okay, that is, the state reported 11 suicides in 2024 compared to 36 in 2023, reflecting a decline of 69.4%. So the suicide rate stood at 0.5 per 1 lakh population. So if you compare it to national, suicides marginally declined from 1,71,418 in 2023 to 1,70,746 in 2024. And the suicide rate, it stood at 12.2 per 1 lakh population. So see here, while the NCRB had represented the data in report form, it stated that responsibility for the authenticity of the information resets with the respective states and UTs. So, like the earlier topics that we discussed, we must remember that official data may not always show the complete picture. Sometimes cases of minor accidents or unreported incidents may not enter the record, especially in hilly and remote areas. So, the ground reality can sometimes differ due to underreporting or delays in documentation. So, the way forward for all of us is clear. While low official numbers are a matter of pride, we should not become complacent. We must continue to focus on better road infrastructure, strict enforcement of traffic rules, especially during night hours, creating awareness about safe driving, and strengthening support systems for mental health to prevent suicide. So, as future administrators, your job will be to convert these positive statistics into genuine and lasting safety for the people. So, NCRB 2024 report represents Nagaland as one of the better performing states in multiple sensitive areas like women's safety, corruption control, and accidental deaths. These are good signs, but sustained efforts and improved reporting systems are needed to make this progress real and meaningful. So this concludes the NCRB report analysis. According to the official data released by Directorate of Economics and Statistics Nagaland, Nagaland's industrial production recorded strong growth in March 2026 with the general index of industrial production rising by 85.05% year on year to 193.10, up from 147.96 in February. So the increase in the general IIP was mainly driven by improvements in the manufacturing and electricity sectors. Index of industrial production, it is an important indicator that measures the growth in industrial activities of a state or a country. So a high growth like this suggests that Nagaland's industries are expanding well in that particular month of March. Now, here you have to remember that IIP for Nagaland is compiled by using the base year 2011 to 12. And remember the general index of industrial production. This is released by Directorate of Economics and Statistics, Nagaland. Nagaland has recorded a high level of income inequality with the state registering a Gini coefficient of 0.46 according to the report on income disparity in Nagaland 2025. So rural Nagaland recorded a coefficient of 0.42 while urban areas stood slightly higher at 0.44. So Gini coefficient index or ratio, these are measures of statistical dispersion that represents income disparity within a social group. So it is measured on a scale of 0 to 1, with higher values indicating greater levels of income inequality. Imagine that all the money which is earned in Nagaland as one big cake. Suppose this is the cake, and this cake represents all the money which is being earned in Nagaland. Now, a small number of people are taking very large slices of this cake. Okay, and then most people are left with very small pieces. So the main measure used here is the Gini coefficient. So in Gini coefficient, there is a number between 0 and 1. If it is 0, it means perfect equality. That means everyone has almost the same income. And if it is 1, it means that one single person has all the income. So Nagaland Gini coefficient is 0.46. So which shows a high and significantly inequality. So looking at the actual numbers to understand the gap. So the top 5% of household earns an average of around 71,000 rupees per month. Okay, and the bottom 50% they earned 1,639 rupees per month. And in terms of total income share, if you see this here, the top 10% they receive 33.43% of the total income. And there's also a big difference between districts. For example, if you see here, Longland has the highest inequality at 0.492 and Peck has the lowest inequality at 0.366. So if you see this, inequality is like a disease in society. Just as there would be no need to find a cure if there was no disease, many important social ideas and movements have started because of different kinds of inequality. Taking the idea of feminism, for instance, in today's times, many people they do not want to be tagged as feminists because the word has gained different meanings and sometimes creates confusion. But at its roots, the movement erupted because of real inequalities in opportunities in and treatment between men and women. So similarly, when income is unevenly distributed, it creates frustration, limits people's dream, and slows down the overall progress of state. Many families they find it hard to access good education, healthcare, and jobs, while a small group they moves far ahead. So the focus should be on inclusive development. This means that creating more job opportunities in agriculture, tourism, handicrafts, and small industries, especially for local youth, we need to improve education and skill training so that young people are ready for better jobs. Special attention must be given to rural areas and backward districts with better roads, electricity, internet, water supply, and hospitals. Support women's self-help groups and targeted people for poor families can lift incomes from the bottom. So regular surveys and good governance will help track whether these efforts are actually reducing the gap. So this is an important fact from exam perspective. So remember that the distribution of income in an economy, okay, is represented by Lawrence curve, and then the degree of income inequality is measured by Gini coefficient. And then report on income disparity in Nagaland 2025. Okay, this was prepared by the Department of Economics and Statistics, Nagaland in collaboration with the University of Hyderabad and prepared under the Union Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation Support for Statistical Spending Subsidy. So remember this part. Nagaland gets rupees 515 crore from Northeastern Council under two major sub-schemes. So two sub-schemes are SONEC, that is Scheme of Northeastern Council, and then NESIDS, that stands for Northeast Special Infrastructure Developments. Okay, so schemes of Northeastern Council, some of the major works include development of sports infrastructure, tourism infrastructure, educational institutions, cultural complexes, skill development centers, community infrastructure, special focus on agriculture and allied sectors, sericulture, beekeeping, horticulture, coffee cultivation, rubber and bamboo promotion, handloom and handicrafts, livestock and fisheries value addition projects. Promotion of Naga culture through museums, heritage complexes, indigenous learning centers, cultural tourism infrastructure, tribal artisan support facilities, and ecotourism and adventure tourism were also promoted through schemes of Northeastern Council. Other important areas covered environmental conservation, afforestation, geospatial planning, mineral resource assessment, post-harvest infrastructure, market linkage progress. So the Northeast Special Infrastructure Development Schemes road achievements, a total of 9 road projects worth of rupees 309.20 crore, 5 projects worth rupees 231.79 crore already completed. Upgradation of road from Dipo Bridge to Amguri in Mokchong district, improving connectivity of the Ao Naga cultural region. So these are the flagship projects. So in 2025 to 26, Northeastern Council sanctioned 4 major projects in Nagaland valued at rupees 67.87 crore, which was aimed at strengthening commercial agriculture, industrial infrastructure, and livelihood generation. So it was coffee development. Northeastern Council approved the cluster-based coffee value chain development project. It became the largest state-specific project in Northeast India during the year. Focus areas were on coffee cultivation, processing, branding, marketing, and built on Nagaland's famous Arabica coffee heritage, post-harvest coffee processing facilities. On the irrigation and water management project, it included Homching Assembly constituency. The aim was to improve the agricultural productivity, support livelihoods in remote regions. Youth and scientific outreach, Ata Lakshmi Youth Exchange Program, under which 581 students from across India visited institutions in Northeast India, which included Nagaland University, National Institute of Technology, Nagaland. Northeast Students Program for Awareness, Reach, and Knowledge on Space Program. So remember this full form of NEAST Parks, okay? 786 students from all northeastern states visited Indian Space Research Organization. It included 95 students from Nagaland. The aim was to promote scientific awareness and innovation. So the fund releases in April 2026 under schemes of Northeastern Council, where for cultural activity complex for Chakasang community at Futsuromi village, promotion of Naga Chili, Northeast Festival of Rice, handicraft facility center in Kohima, strategic and critical mineral assessment in Nagaland, mineral exploration in funding. Mineral exploration funding is expected to support infrastructure, industrial, and economic growth. And then the fund released in April 2026 under NESIDS roads includes Lampong Shinga to Nyasa Village Road in Mon District, Glory Peak Tourist Road in Pek, Tening to Leke Road, Raiga to Sampa Village Road. Years of delay in Nagaland Cancer Center project. The Tertiary Care Cancer Center at Naga Hospital Authority Kohima remains unfinished despite all rupees 35 crore having been spent on the project, according to documents obtained through the RTI Act. The Government of India approved the project in December 2013 under a national program aimed at strengthening cancer care facilities across the country. The center was originally expected to be completed by 2020 and become operational in 2021. However, according to the latest status report, overall civil construction stands at 86.36%. The revised timeline now targets June 2026 for project completion and December 2026 for full operationalization. The project is being implemented by Naga Hospital Authority Kohima, while civil construction is being executed through the development of Authority of Nagaland. A private contractor has been engaged for the construction works. So this tertiary care cancer center at Naga Hospital Authority in Kohima, it was approved by the Government of India in December 2013. It was part of the national program to strengthen cancer care facilities across the country. So the center was expected to be completed by 2020 and become operational in 2021. However, even after spending more than rupees 35 crore, the project is still unfinished. So according to the documents which was obtained through the Right to Information Act, the overall civil construction stands at only 86.36%. So the revised timeline now aims for completion by June 2026 and full operationalization by December 2026. So this case here, it highlights the gap between policy approval and actual implementation on the ground. And it also underlines the role of RTI in ensuring transparency and accountability in government spending. So the biggest issue here is the lack of effective implementation. So despite huge financial investment and clear timelines, the project has been delayed for years, denying timely cancer care to the people in the region. So this reflects a common problem in many Indian projects where funds are spent but outcomes remain pending due to poor coordination, contractor inefficiencies, or administrative hurdles. So the way forward should focus on stricter monitoring, regular audits, use of technology for real-time tracking, and fixing accountability at every level. Capacity building of local agencies and timely intervention can help reduce such delays. So remember that good policies, they succeed only when execution is strong and time-bound. Now let us look at another important development from Nagaland related to balancing infrastructure needs with environmental protection. That is, Center approves 3.93 hectares forest diversion for power line at Nagaland Zoological Park. So the government of Nagaland has approved the diversion of 3.93 hectares of forest land in favor of the Department of Power, Nagaland, for constructing a 220 kilovolt transmission line from Dimapur to Kohima. So this falls under the jurisdiction of Nagaland Zoological Park Division. The user agency, that is the Department of Power, Government of Nagaland, has now been permitted to proceed with the project, which falls under the jurisdiction of National Zoological Park Division, Chumuktiba. But the user agency, that is the Department of Power, must transfer the net present value of the diverted forest land into compensatory afforestation fund management and planning authority account. So the divisional officer of NZB division is the monitoring authority. So this passage here, it helps us understand the practical application of the Forest Conservation Act, the procedure for forest land diversion, and the role of CAMPA in compensatory afforestation. It also shows how development projects must follow legal safeguards to protect forests. So while the approval have been granted, the actual implementation of such project often faces delays due to procedural complexities, local issues, or monitoring gaps. So without proper follow-up, even approved diversions can lead to environmental degradation if compensatory planting is not done effectively. So the way forward lies in robust monitoring by designated authorities, timely deposit and utilization of CAMPA funds, and integration of environmental safeguards with development goals. Greater use of technology for tracking afforestation progress and community involvement can ensure better outcomes. So this teaches us the importance of balancing growth with conservation through transparent and accountable processes. Medical arrangements between labor and health and family welfare department under employee state insurance scheme. With the implementation of the employee state insurance scheme in the whole district of Nagaland, so that means this employee state insurance scheme, it is implemented in the whole district of Nagaland, and in order to facilitate medical care services for the ESI beneficiaries, the Department of Labor has made medical arrangements with the Health and Family Welfare Department for providing medical services through CHC's district hospitals to the insured persons and their dependents under the Employees State Insurance Scheme in the newly implemented 9 districts of state, that is Mon, Twinsang, Loklok, Shamator, Longland, Kifri, Pek, Maluri, and Peren. So this ESI scheme, it applies to employees in factories and other establishments like road transport, hotels, restaurants, cinemas, newspaper shops, and private medical or educational institutions wherein 10 or more persons are employed. Okay, so these are the criteria, and drawing up to rupees 21,000 salary a month. So the employers or proprietors of coverable establishments are therefore mandatory to register their establishments and their workers or employees within the ambit of ESI scheme. NST fleet gets a major boost for the 3 new buses to hit Nagaland roads. So the government of Nagaland has signed a tripartite memorandum of agreement with Tata Motors Limited for the procurement of 43 new buses. So remember this, 43 new buses. This landmark agreement is aimed to strengthen public transport services under the Nagaland State Transport Department. The total project cost was rupees 13 crore and it will be paid over 3 years through the state plan allocations. That is in the first year 5 crore, second year 4 crore, and third year 4 crore. So under this agreement, NST is expected to receive the delivery of 43 buses within 3 months, providing an immediate boost to its fleet capacity. Expansion is expected to improve operational efficiency, widen service coverage in both urban and rural areas, and enhance the department's revenue potential. So Nagaland State Transport, as a department of the state government of Nagaland, it was set up on 18 December 1964. Nagaland's procurement of 43 buses marks a welcome modernization of public transport in the state, yet it has sparked concerns whether disability rights are being fully upheld. A landmark 2017 Supreme Court ruling in Rajiv Ratori versus Union of India clarified that Section 41 of the Disabilities Act 2016 it requires comprehensive accessibility across all transport modes, including buses. So this places a clear duty on both central and state governments to ensure that all government buses are disabled friendly as per harmonized guidelines. So Nagaland's own 2019 Transport Department notification reinforced this by mandating that no new public transport vehicle can be registered unless it meets minimum accessibility standards, enabling persons with disabilities to travel comfortably and with dignity. The harmonized guidelines and standards for universal accessibility in India 2021, it specify mandatory features such as low floor buses with maximum ground floor height of 400 mm. So suppose if this is the bus, the height, okay, of this one should be 400 mm. That is 40 centimeter. And the door should be of, the width of this door should be 1200 mm. That is 120 centimeter. Installation of handrails and footlights, hydraulic lifts or pull-out or foldable ramps for wheelchair users and persons with mobility impairments, designated wheelchair spaces with safety belts and wheel stoppers, accessible alighting buzzers with rail or raised markings, and clearly visible visual route and destination information displays inside and outside the buses. The introduction of these 43 new buses must prioritize full compliance with the Right of Persons with Disability Act and accessibility standards, making ramps, lift, wheelchair spaces, and inclusive information systems non-negotiable. Even in challenging geography, the state has a legal and moral responsibility to find workable solutions instead of avoiding them. Consulting persons with disabilities and experts during the process, along with proper inspection and certification mechanisms, will ensure this new fleet truly inclusive. Ultimately, this initiative should uphold the principle that hilly terrain is not an excuse to leave disabled citizens behind, transforming public transport into a system that serves everyone with dignity and equality. So, this is a very important topic, that is mission copies of Nagaland. So, remember that when you study this topic, everyone will be studying this one, so you cannot miss this one. Okay. So, mission copies of Nagaland, cluster-based coffee value chain development in Nagaland project. So, Mission Coffees of Nagaland, it is a key government initiative to develop coffee as a high-value crop in Nagaland. So, Mission Coffees of Nagaland, it is a partnership between the government and the private sector to transform the state's scattered smallholder coffee landscape into a vibrant, sustainable, globally competitive value chain. Nagaland's agroclimatic conditions are exceptionally suited for premium Arabica and Robusta coffee. So, the total investment rupees 49.48 crore. So the project adopts a focused cluster-based approach with two pilot sites, that is Tupima in Kohima district for Arabica and Gotobi in Newland district for Robusta. Okay, so this should be Robusta. So when it comes to the suitability of growing this Arabica and Robusta coffee, okay, for Arabica, it is grown at higher altitudes. Okay, so maybe Tupima was selected, and then for Robusta, they can be grown at lower altitude. So therefore, maybe Gotabi in Newland district was selected because Topima hilly, right? And Newland district is plain. So you can relate like this. So this initiative, it aligns with the National Vision of Viksit Bharat 2047 and Atmanirbhar Bharat. The statewide capacity building program in partnership with the Coffee Board of India will empower thousands of farmers and entrepreneurs. the branding exercise to create a unified coffee of Nagaland taste of eminence. So this is the brand name. Okay, this will be the brand name. So remember this umbrella brand supported by digital marketing, e-commerce, and participation in national and international fairs will take Nagaland coffee to premium markets in India and abroad. The Ministry of Development of Northeastern Region launched Coffees of Nagaland as the state unique selling proposition, signaling an ambitious push to carve out a distinct identity in India's rapidly expanding specialty coffee market. The initiative positions Nagaland as a specialty coffee destination, leveraging the state's exceptional agroclimatic conditions, rich biodiversity, and time-honored sustainable farming traditions, cultivated across several districts under Nagaland Forest Shade, a practice that not only yields coffee prized for its distinct aroma and flavor, but also actively supports biodiversity conservation. So the USP was launched on 18th of May 2026 by Honorable Union Minister Shri Jyotiraditya Skinda in the presence of Honorable Chief Minister of Nagaland, that is Shri Dr. Niferio, envisions Coffees of Nagaland as a platform for rural employment, improved household incomes, youth empowerment, and broader community development and conservation of ecology. So the Department of Land Resources, okay, so remember this, along with the key stakeholders, has been laying the groundwork through plantation development infrastructure support and capacity building efforts that now find renewed momentum under this branding initiative. Now, regarding the Coffee Board of India, it is an autonomous organization and it is managed by Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, to promote coffee production. Headquarters in Bangalore, and it was established by an Act of Parliament in 1942. So some of the reasons why Nagaland started this mission was to reduce June cultivation. So June, it leads to soil erosion and deforestation. So coffee, which is a perennial crop, will protect the soil and it will support biodiversity. And this coffee mission will also give stable income to tribal farmers and engage the youth, and it will create job in processing and tourism. And this coffee mission, it is a long-term goal as it is a part of Viksit Nagaland targeting to bring 50,000 hectares, okay? 50,000 hectares under coffee by 2047. So it aims to make Nagaland a premium specialty coffee producer. So when it comes to the ideal conditions of growing coffee, okay, for growing coffee, the rainfall required is 15002 to 2500 mm. Temperature should be around 15 degree to 28 degrees Celsius. And then coffee is grown in well-drained, slightly acidic soil and shade grown for quality and biodiversity. So try to make a good note on Mission Coffees of Nagaland. Celebrating Moatse festival through the spirit of Ancha. So this Ancha tradition, okay, Amot is a festival is celebrated by the our community. And this Ancha tradition, it is an age-old practice of inviting neighboring tribes to participate in the harvest festival. So Chuchiyamlang, it is known as the Moatse destination. So here's a question for you. Chuchiyamlang was designated the state's Moatse destination in which year? Okay, so try to find out the answer or you can recall the answer. So Moatse is a festival celebrated by the Ao people of Nagaland. This is a festival of community bonding celebrated in May for 3 days in the first week of May every year from May 1st to 3rd. So Moatse is a festival of thanksgiving among the Ao Nagas. So the Aos observe Moatse Mo after the sowing is done. So this festival, it provides them a period of recreation and entertainment after the stressful work of clearing fields, burning jungles, sowing seeds, cleaning up the tsubu. Tsubu means wells, and repairs and construction of houses by elders of the Putumandan, stretching over a week. So during this festival, one of the symbolic celebration is Sangpangtu. Okay, so where a big fire is lit and men and women they sit around in putting on their complete best attire, and the women folk they serve wine and meat. Zalario inaugurated the rental housing for urban poor complex. So remember this, okay, this is for urban, not for rural. Urban poor complex, flags of sanitation vehicles. The rental housing for urban poor complex was inaugurated and sanitation vehicles under the Swachh Bharat mission and state plan were flag off at Chumuketima. So this rental housing for urban poor complex, it is located in Chumuketima. So this initiative, it is aimed at providing affordable and dignified accommodation with essential basic services for economically weaker sections, migrant workers, and low-income groups. So this housing facility, okay, it will not be only allotted to indigenous inhabitants, but to all the Indian citizens residing in the district, including migrant workers, while clarifying that illegal immigrants will not be eligible. So that means this housing complex will be allotted to Nagas as well as non-Nagas, but if they are illegal immigrants, they will be not eligible. So the initial rent had been fixed at rupees 1,000 for a period of 3 years, okay? And any further revision would be undertaken by the Chimkitima Town Council with the approval of the state government. So for the first 3 years, the house rent will be 1,000, and if they want to revise this house rent, then it will be undertaken by the Chimkitima Town Council, but the approval should be taken from the state government. So 5% reservation had been earmarked for persons with disabilities and suggested concessional rent for them. So this project it was implemented under the Rajiv Awas Yojana scheme funded by Ministry of Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation. So this housing complex consists of 384 dwelling units, one bedroom, one hall kitchen. So one BHK stands for bedroom, hall kitchen. Constructed across 12 blocks of G plus 3 structures. So the first order was issued in August 14, 2014. So here we can see that there is delay of implementation, right? The State Entrepreneurs Conclave 2026, it was held at Jumputima, okay? So it was organized by YouthNet with Cuts International and the Asia Foundation with support from Google. Jumputima gets Thakur Cultural Complex. So the Thakur Cultural Complex, it was inaugurated at Jumputima. Dimapur town finally got introduced to automatic number plate recognition. So remember this full form. It was funded under National Clean Air Program. Okay, and the project includes a network of 4 high-resolution ANPR and 9 CCTV cameras. So, what is the full form of CCTV? DIWAS, taking urban waste handling to the household. So, Nagaland's first community-based waste sorting unit is in Dimapur. A first of its kind for the state, the material recovering facility. It is located in Forest Colony in Dimapur. And the result was a collaborative effort initiated by the Dimapur-based NGO, like that is Living for Environment. Decentralizing the current model of waste disposal is at the heart of the project, also called as DIWA's Hub, which stands for Diverting Waste. Okay? Hands-on community involvement is at the heart of the initiative. So EduConnect 2026, the fourth EduConnect 2026 Connecting Education to Opportunities. It was held at Integrated Business Hub and Innovation Center in Dimapur. So remember this Integrated Business Hub and Innovation Center, it is in Dimapur, and it was organized by IDAN in collaboration with Cryptex Solo. So this statement was given by Abu Mehta. He is the chairperson of IDAN. So the modern definition of being uneducated applies not to those who cannot read and write, but to those unable to utilize modern technology. So he said this statement in this quote EduConnect. Dimapur IT department launches new Income Tax Act awareness drive. So the Income Tax Department Dimapur under the Office of the Principal Chief Commissioner of Income Tax Northeastern Region organized an extensive awareness campaign on the new Income Tax 2025. So remember this new Income Tax 2025. Okay, it came into effect from 1st of April 2026. So this awareness drive was part of the nationwide outreach initiative Param 2026. So Param 2026, it was launched to facilitate a smooth transition from old tax system to new regime. And Karasati, it is an AI-enabled chatbot developed by Income Tax Department to assist taxpayers with real-time responses to income tax-related queries. Nagaland Handloom and Handicrafts Development Corporation Limited, Dimapur, will organize a Gandhi Shila Bazaar at Urban Hut, Dimapur. So Urban Hut is in Dimapur. Dimapur district jumps from rank 76 to 10 on Northeast Region Sustainable Development Goal Index district profile. So Dimapur district in Nagaland has recorded a significant improvement in the Northeastern Region District Sustainable Development Index, jumping from rank 10 out of 121 districts in 2023 to 24 from rank 76 out of 100 districts in 2021 to 22. So the jump is huge, right? From 76 to 10. So the score was 76.29, okay? The goal-wise performance showed that Dimapur scored strongly in SDG 8. So what is SDG 8? That is decent work in economic growth. And SDG 7, that is affordable and clean energy. And SDG 13, that is climate action. And SDG 11, sustainable cities and communities. And SDG 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Okay, so remember this SDG goals. And the report also highlighted improvements in several indicators, including 100% electrified villages, 100% mobile network coverage in villages, 100% Household using improved water resources and 100% GPS or villages verified open defecation free status. So Sustainable Development Goals India Index 2023 to 2024. Okay, in this report, okay, Kerala and Uttarakhand were among the top performing states. And this SDG India Index 2023 to 2024, it covered 17 goals, 70 targets, and 115 indicators. And Northeastern Region District Sustainable Development Goals Index, it was developed by Niti Aayog, the Minister of Development of Northeastern Region, and the United Nations Development Program. This index, it was prepared by using 84 indicators mapped to 50 SDG targets. So the districts were classified in four categories, that is aspirants, performers, frontrunners, and achievers based on their composite scores. So Ungma and Tupima friendship from two villages to one Nagaland. The 25th anniversary of Runa Keto Maung Akse, marking a quarter century of friendship between Ungma and Tupima villages, were celebrated at Yung Tsungda Arok Sabang, Ungma, coinciding with the Moatse festival on May 2. So it was hosted by Ungma Village Council under the theme Kamzumshi, which is an out term meaning to bolster amity. The traditional practice, that is Akse, it is a symbolic sharing of a pig marked equality and brotherhood, that is pig divided into equal halves between the two villages, symbolizing goodwill, equality, and mutual respect. So remember that this Runa Krito Mong Aksu, okay, this is between Umma and Tupima. The Konoma Youth Organization has reiterated its ban on hunting within Kohima jurisdiction, warning that violators will face a fine of fees 40,000 per individual and risk prosecution under the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. So from here, what we have to focus is regarding Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Okay, under this, okay, the protection of various plants and animals are divided into six schedules. Schedule 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So according to the 42nd Amendment Act 1976, okay, forest and protection of wild animals and birds was transferred from state list to concurrent list. So remember this. And Article 51A G of the Constitution states that it shall be the fundamental duty of every citizen to protect and improve the natural environment, including forests and wildlife. And Article 48A in DPSP, it mandates that the state shall endeavor to protect and improve the environment and to safeguard the forests and wildlife of the country. So Schedule 1, it covers endangered species that need rigorous protection. Schedule 2, it also lists high protection species, okay, with the prohibition of their trade. Under Schedule 3 and 4, not endangered species are covered. And under Schedule 5, this includes animals that are considered as vermin. So vermin are small wild animals that carry disease and destroy plants and food. Okay? The animals under Schedule 5 can be hunted. And Schedule 6, it provides regulation in cultivation of a specified plant and restriction its possession, sale, and transportation. So both cultivation and trade of specified plants can only be carried out with prior permission of competent authority. The first workshop on capacity building plan development using AI is being held at Administrative Training Institute. So this institute, it is in Kohima. Okay. So regarding Mission Karma Yogi, it was launched by which ministry with the objective of enhancing governance in September 2020. So by the name itself, we can get an idea that Administrative Training Institute, it is an institute where the administrators are trained, right? So it was established in the year 1972. The vision was to be the center of excellence in training by creating a congenial learning atmosphere leading to wholesome competence. A 2-day capacity building training program on corporate social responsibility, its compliance, and the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, which commenced on April 30, Kohima. So this program, it was curated by IDAN in collaboration with Ministry of Home Affairs and HCL Foundation. So this initiative, it was designed for state government departments and non-governmental organizations. And Nagaland State CSR Cell, that is the corporate social responsibility, it comes under IDAN, okay? And it was established to promote convergence between the corporate initiatives and local development needs, and to facilitate collaboration among government, private sector, NGOs, and community organizations for effective utilization of CSR funds. So study this corporate social responsibility, okay? So there are some certain eligibility conditions of for the companies. And remember that this CSR, it has been mandatory in India, okay? and Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. So this act is also important. So try to get a brief idea of this act. Now here's a question for you. Non-profit organizations are registered under which section of the Companies Act 2013? So this is just for your awareness that the Directorate of Human Resource Development, their office have been relocated to Marymount. In line with which sustainable development goal is the Department of Human Resource Development in Nagaland has been carrying out multiple initiatives to improve the socio-economic status of women as well as provide support services to mainstream and balance the gender divide, uplift women and facilitate their self-dependency. So try to find this answer. Members of the Voluntary Blood Donors Association Nagaland had called on Nagaland Governor Nan Kishore Yadav. So Nagaland Governor, okay, Nan Kishore Yadav, he is the 23rd Governor of Nagaland. He is also the Chief Patron of the association, that is the Voluntary Blood Donors Association. How much unit of blood donated by a person can fulfill the need of 3 people at a time? So this is the question for you. Friends of 80 plus Kohima village brought together 95 elderly citizens aged 80 years and above at Sira Hall, El Khel Kohima village to mark its 21st foundation day on April 30. So Friends of 80 plus, it was formed in 2006. Okay. It is a non-governmental and non-profit initiative. A person between 80 to 90 years is called Dash. Nagaland gets living cultural space with Indigenous Resource Center. So it was constructed at a total cost of rupees 1,283.08 lakh with central and state contributions. The Nagaland Indigenous Tribes Cultural Resource Center. Okay, now this is located in Kohima, so you can just remember that. Nagaland launches AI supercomputing facility, Ileona, for climate resilience. So this Ileona, it is a state-level AI supercomputing facility which is aimed at strengthening climate resilience, disaster preparedness, technology-enabled governance in Nagaland. So remember that it was launched by NSDMA, that is Nagaland State Disaster Management Authority. So the name is derived from Hebrew origin, meaning God is gracious and God has answered. A marathon was organized in Kohima on May 8, okay, by Akashvani Kohima to commemorate 90 years of radio broadcasting in India. So All India Radio, it has been officially known as Akashvani. Okay, this Akashvani, it was proposed by Rabindranath Tagore and it means voice from the sky. So radio broadcasting started in India in 1923 by the Radio Club of Bombay. DC of Kohima has issued an order enforcing strict regulations on noise pollution across the district in accordance with Noise Pollution Regulation and Control Rules 2000 and directives of the CPCB and National Green Tribunal. So remember these limits, okay? So during the daytime, dB means decibel, and industrial area, this is important. So industrial area, daytime limit is 75 decibel, nighttime 70, commercial area 65, nighttime 55, residential area 55, nighttime 45, and silent zones 50 and 40. So silent zones includes areas within 100 meters of hospitals, schools, and courts. So suppose this is a school, okay? So if this is a school, then the area within 100 meters, okay, of this school will be considered as silent zone. So these are the noise control order. So if you want, you can go through this one. The newly renovated sub-health center at Kitsuboso was formally inaugurated in Kohima. Okay, so the key takeaway from this is this facility was made possible through the crucial financial support of 15th Finance Commission held grants during 2021-22. So regarding the Finance Commission, okay, so Finance Commission, it is a constitutional body and it is appointed every 5 years under Article 280, okay, to recommend how taxes collected by the union should be shared with the states and how grants in aid should be distributed. So the first Finance Commission of India, it was appointed in 1951. Okay, the period was from 1952 to 57, and it was chaired by K.C. New. Okay, so the first Finance Commission, it was chaired by K.C. New. Okay, so remember this, 15th Finance Commission, it was from 2021 to 26, and it was chaired by N.K. Singh, and 16th Finance Commission. The current Finance Commission is the 16th Finance Commission, and it will be for a period of 2026 to 32, and it is chaired by Arvind Panagrian. So remember this. Nagaland Governor. So Nagaland Governor is 23rd. Okay. Nan Kishore Yadav had been inducted as the chief patron of Nagaland State Bard Scouts and Guides. So Nagaland State Bard Scouts and Guides, it was established in the year 1967, and Lord Robert Baden-Powell founded this scouting movement in 1907. So third edition of Potato Festival held at Jakama. Okay, done. So potato it is a tuber crop and it is a modified part of plant stem. Okay, so round revelation was done for potato. So here is a quick revision of the recent festival which was held. So soybean festival it was held at Chumukatima. Okay, the theme was from field to feast, celebrating our soybean legacy. Northeast Festival of Rice it was held at Chumukatima. And fifth edition of Rusama Orange Festival, it was held at Rusama Village. So remember this edition also. The newly constructed Naga Bazar Sub-Center building was inaugurated with an aim to enhance healthcare delivery for residents of Naga Bazar and Boima. The sub-center building was constructed under the health grants of Fifth Finance Commission. Okay, so try to recall whatever facts we have just gone through regarding the 15th Finance Commission. IDON, in collaboration with Customized Energy Solutions Foundation, had organized a one-day state-level workshop on Nagaland Food and Feed Link 2.0 at Capital Convention Center. So the main aim of this workshop was to build the foundation laid during the 2025 state level workshop and strengthen enterprise development through clean energy enabled interventions. So this initiative, it seeks to promote local production, improve productivity, reduce dependence on external inputs, and create income opportunities for rural entrepreneurs and produce goods across Nagaland. So remember, this is for rural entrepreneurs, okay? This initiative is called Rural Entrepreneurs. So N2FL 2.0 initiative, it focused on four major value chains, that is fiber, food, feed, and credit linkage with enterprise scaling. So under the fiber value chain, the program, it will support local skills in garment stitching, bags, and daily use products through community-based hubs. Food value chain, it aims to assist entrepreneurs in improving product quality, packaging, sales, and market access. Feed value chain, it will focus on promoting local feed production using locally available raw materials. The Assam Rifle has conducted an awareness rally on Kohima on May 9 on occasion of first anniversary of Operation Sindhu. So Operation Sindhu, it was launched by India in retaliation for the April 2025 Pahalgam terrorist attack. So it was launched by Indian Armed Forces on May 7th, 2025. It was executed through the coordinated efforts of Army, Navy, and Air Force conducted from Indian territory. So during the Operation Sindoor, the Indian Army replaced popular messaging apps like WhatsApp with which indigenous secure communication platforms. So these are the given options. So try to find out the correct answer. The Early Intervention and Community Rehabilitation Center at Bumblebee Inclusive School and was launched at Kohima. So Kopelevi Thepa, okay, so she's Kopelevi Thepa and she is the founder of Bumblebee Society. And according to 2011 census, Nagaland is home to 29,631 persons with disabilities, okay, out of which 12,904 are literate. And then, so here we have to check this one once, we have to cross check this one. I think 16,787 will be illiterate, but we have to cross check the value, okay? So here are two questions for you. Relief of the disabled and unemployable is listed in the which list, that is whether it is listed in the state, concurrent, or union list given in the seventh schedule in the Constitution of India. So try to find this answer, or if you know this answer, well and good for you. Right of Persons with Disabilities Act was enacted in which year to replace the earlier Persons with Disabilities Act 1995? So here's another question. So this statement was said by Kopele V. Tepa, okay? And this is very true. So let's go through this statement. Disability has been a part of human community since time immemorial and has existed across generations, cultures, and societies. Despite this, even today, many people with disabilities and their families continue to live in fear of stigma and fear of judgment. So when families remain silent about their journeys, struggles, and victories, we lose the voices that would have encouraged countless others who are silently struggling in isolation. So disability is not something to outgrow or dissociate from, but a part of human diversity and another dimension of consolidation. Okay, so which is very true. Nagaland integrates a few new fire station, launches digital management system. So a new fire station was launched at Kohima, and along with this fire station launch, the launch of modernization of Nagaland Fire and Emergency Services Management System, it was also launched. So Nagaland Fire and Emergency Service Management System project, it is being implemented as a pilot initiative in Kohima, Mokokchung, and Dimapur. Okay. So this project, it aims to digitally transform the functioning of the fire and emergency services departments to improve efficiency, accessibility, accuracy, and transparency through a centralized management system. First, Hydrangea Fair, okay, 2026, it was held in Kohima. So done. So volunteers from churches and civic bodies, they joined hands to clean up Mount Pulebazi near Kohima on May 22nd, marking International Biodiversity Day under the theme Acting Locally for Global Impact. So remember, May 22, it marks the celebration of International Biodiversity Day. So the cleanup drive was held in support of Jotsuma Nature Conservation and Ecotourism, a joint initiative of Living Empathy Action and Fellowship and the Social Concerned Department, Nagaland Baptist Church Council in coordination with the Jotsuma Village Council. So Chaheke, this is the base point of Pulebaze. Now regarding the legend of Pulebaze, this mountain is named after Pule Nakpo. He was a well-built man from Jotsuma. Okay, so Jotsuma was the ancient name of Jotsuma, who fell grievously ill before he could hold a feast following his marriage to Chasileo of the Gesunomiya clan. So before his death, he gifted his field Zakraleziet to his wife as a token of love. His grieving father erected a stone platform atop the hill as a seat for his son, believing him to still reside here. The hill thereafter came to be known as Pule Baze, which literally means Pule's seat. Our Academy will organize 56th annual seminar from May 27 to 29 at its headquarters Mission Compound, Kohima, under the theme Ude Cha Kese, which means paving language progression. Union Minister for Health and Family Welfare, JP Nadda, assured towards the upgrading the Nagaland Institute of Medical Sciences and Research at Kohima into a super specialty institute and setting up a Greenfield Medical College and AIMS Institute at Nagaki City at Chumbutwa. Okay. So Central Seat Allocation Board 2026, Coordinating Institute, Indian Institute of Engineering, Science and Technology, Shibpur, announced the CSAB and EUT 2026 special counseling round for undergraduate admissions for academic year 2026 to 27 for Northeast and Union Territory. So this CSAB, it functions under Ministry of Education. The Green Roof Project, first edition, so it was held at Kohima. New frog species discovered in Kifri. So this frog species, it belongs to genus Amolops, a group of stream-dwelling frogs, okay, typically found in fast-flowing hill streams across Asia. So the frog species, it was discovered in Singrep village of Kifri district. Nagaland Skill Entrepreneurship Development Mission under IDAM conducted the Enterprise Readiness Support Workshop 2.0 at Longland. Kukungri Area Public Organization organized a voluntary bamboo plantation drive and observed bamboo plantation day on May 23rd across all 10 villages under its jurisdiction. So key takeaway from this is that bamboo was legally defined as a tree under Indian Forest Act 1927, okay, but it was excluded from the tree category after the amendment of Indian Forest Amendment Bill 2017. So National Bamboo Mission, it was launched as a centrally sponsored scheme in the year 2018 to 19. So fifth edition of Cucumber Festival, it was held at Aliba Village in Mokatong district. So Aliba Village is also known as Cucumber Village, and then Naga Sweet Cucumber, it received geographical indication in the year 2021. So Nagaland has secured geographical indication for 4 of its products, okay, that is Naga Mircha, Naga Tree Tomato, Chakusang Shawl, and Naga Cucumber. So remember the year also. A 2-day community first response training program aimed at strengthening disaster preparedness and emergency response at the community level concluded at Longland. So this program, it was organized by Indian Red Cross Society, Nagaland State Branch in collaboration with the Nagaland State Disaster Management Authority. The resource persons highlighted the importance of first response mechanism during emergencies and imparted practical training on cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So remember the full form of CPR, okay? Choking response, first aid for fractures, wounds, and bleeding, heart attacks, and cardiac arrest, dressing and bandaging, recovering position, and transportation of casualties. So this question was asked in NCS Mains 2025. So according to the standard medical guidelines, what is the recommended rate for manual cardiopulmonary resuscitation, chest compressions to a person? Okay. So this is how you can relate the science portion from current affairs. So this is just to give you a brief idea. Mon district emerged as the winner of the state level parliamentary quiz competition, okay, followed by Kohima district and Tuensang district. As per Article 245, what is the function of parliament. So this is a question for you. Mon district sets up efforts to end preventable maternal deaths. So the district health society Mon organized a training program, Suman. Okay, so this Suman, it is an initiative which is aimed at ensuring zero preventable maternal and child deaths. Okay, so it stands for Surakshit Matritva Ashwasan Yojana. Okay, so remember this, and it comes under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So in the year 2005, okay, ASHA was instituted by the government of India's Ministry of Health and Family Welfare as part of the National Rural Health Mission. So what is the full form of ASHA? So recall this. So MON reviews gaps under NQAS prioritizes for health centers. So NQAS, it stands for National Quality Assurance Standards Initiative, and it was held in view of the ongoing 100 days NQAS drive. So this NQAS, okay, it is a comprehensive framework established by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, which is aimed at ensuring and enhancing the quality of healthcare services provided at public health facilities, okay, not private, but public health facilities. So this NQAS framework, it aims to enhance the quality of care in public health facilities by focusing on areas such as service provision, patient rights, inputs, support services, clinical care, infection control, quality management. So this leads to better patient outcomes and increased public trust in healthcare services. Because most of the time we have the notion, right, like when government will the ball not you. Huh? So national quality assurance standards it was established to build the trust of publics in public healthcare services. Educators, social leaders, and district officials from Mon and parent districts participated in ACE, which stands for Awareness, Communication and Empathy, Leadership, and Transformative Teaching Workshops, a professional development initiative facilitated by Naga under the District Empowerment Program. So ACE workshop, it is one strand of the District Empowerment Program and it is for a 3-year initiative because that is from 2024 to 27. So it is working across Mon and Parent District to revitalize rural education through a holistic community-driven model. So DEP, that is District Empowerment Program, it is a partnership between HDFC Bank and Shiksha Lokam implemented by Elevate Foundation. So Naga Ed, it is a digital education company which is committed to improving the learning outcomes for tribal and indigenous communities across Nagaland and Northeast India, partnering with government agencies, school colleges, and development organizations to deliver inclusive, accessible, and scalable digital learning solutions. Bamsia Kilwa establishes world's first community conserve area for Asiatic golden cat. Okay, so Bamsia Kilwa village, it is in Parent district. Okay, and they have declared the Daukheling Hembamlo Community Conserve Area for the protection of Asiatic golden cat. So with this initiative, okay, it becomes the world's first community conserve area specifically dedicated to the conservation of this rare and threatened wildcat species. So this initiative, it was made possible through the collective efforts of Bamsia Kilwa, Hebamlo community, the Eastern Himalayas Marble Cat Project, and Small Wildcat Conservation Foundation. So regarding the Asiatic golden cat, okay, the scientific name is Catopuma temenki. It is a medium-sized wildcat native to northeastern India subcontinent, Southeast Asia, and China. It has been listed as vulnerable, okay, on the IUCN Red List since 2025. So, CITES Appendix 1, Wildlife Protection Act of India, 1972. It is in Schedule 1. Patoka Tea Factory and State in Newland. So, this tea factory was established in the year 2021, and it is the region's first farmer producer organization based broadleaf tea factory licensed by the Tea Board of India. The state, with licensed capacity of 5 lakh kilograms, currently supports tea cultivation across 15 villages in Newland, covering around 900 acres and involving over 150 small tea growers, while generating livelihoods for hundreds of workers, with tribal women forming a major part of the workforce. A formal ceremony marking the renaming of Sotupur village of Sotupu was held at Sotupu village under Shamator district. So Sotupu means elephant's head. So Shamator district is the 16th district of Nagaland and the creation date and then the inauguration date is different. So remember these 2 dates. Noklak's handmade textiles reached Rashtrapati Bhavan. A delegation of artisans from Northeast India, including a team of Nagaland's Noklak district, was led by the design label Woven Threads. met President Draupadi Murmu at Rashtrapati Bhavan. The artisans had contributed to the prestigious at-home reception. So this at-home reception it was held on 26th of January 2026. Okay, and then this group of women who were labeled as woven threads. Okay, they represented Nagaland. So this initiative, that is the at-home reception initiative. Okay, it was undertaken by Rashtrapati Bhavan with technical support from the National Institute of Design, which was aimed to showcase the rich traditional crafts of all northeastern states. So, as Nagaland's presidential gift, woven threads Noklok had presented a handcrafted home textiles made from Elon new fibers, okay, which is a blend of stinging nettle and orange wild rare fibers. So this is the gift to the President Draupadi Murmu by woven threads. So this question was asked in NCS pre-2025. Okay. So this collection it was developed with support from the Canvas Home Small Grants, an initiative of handmade to market, formerly known as Aid to Artisans. Total Language Day is celebrated on May 1. So Article Dash and Dash of the Indian Constitution specifically protect the rights of minorities, allowing them to preserve their language, script, and culture. So recall this. The Women Entrepreneurs Network Nagaland, in collaboration with Small Industries Development Bank of India, conducted a series of one-day business governance workshop for women entrepreneurs in Kifi, Noklak, Shamator, and Trinsang district. So remember the full form of when, okay? And then when was SIDBI established? So when you recall the date of SIDBI, try also to recall the date of establishment for NABARD and SEBI. Eastern Morong done one Vikas Kendra under Nagaland Beekeeping and Honey Mission. Okay, so this is under Nagaland Beekeeping and Honey Mission in Twinsang district has emerged as a successful community-based initiative promoting sustainable livelihoods through value addition of honey bee byproducts and other minor forest produce. So this initiative has significantly improved income generation and livelihood opportunities for rural households in the district. The VDBK currently records an annual income of around rupees 30 lakh while promoting sustainable utilization of natural resources and economic self-reliance among local communities. Similarly, here in this Rontung Cho area multi-purpose Vandam Vikas Kendra, okay, it is located in the Sunny's Block Waka district, was established in the late 2021 and under Nagaland Beekeeping and Honey Mission. So remember, BDPK comes under Nagaland Beekeeping and Honey Mission. National Beekeeping and Honey Mission, it is a centrally dashed. So whether it is a sponsored or sector, try to find out the answer. For promoting scientific beekeeping for holistic growth of beekeeping sector. The goal is to bring about a sweet revolution. So sweet revolution is associated with honey. The mission has a total budget outlay of rupees 500 crores and it is being implemented for the period financial year 2020 to 21 to financial year 2025 to 26. So National Bee Board, it is implementing agency of National Beekeeping and Honey Mission. KVK Workout Initiative set to boost sustainable food enterprises to promote food processing, entrepreneurship, and livelihood opportunities among rural communities. The ICAR Krishi Vigyan Kendra Workout conducted two 5-day skill training programs under Tribal Subplan Initiative for self-help groups, farmers producer organizations, farmers, rural youth, and agripreneurs in the district. The program highlighted the importance of value addition to locally grown produce and stressed the need for small-scale food processing units to improve rural income and livelihood opportunities. The participants were also trained on methods to reduce post-harvest losses and improve product quality. So this was a question asked in Mains 2025. So what is the value addition in respect of horticulture products? Explain the various initiatives undertaken by government of Nagaland for value addition in horticultural products being produced in the state. So you can also make a note on coffee products regarding value addition in respect to coffee products or honey products, etc. Okay. So which organization initiated the self-help group bank linkage program as a pilot project in the year 1992 to 93 to connect poor households with formal financial institutions? ICU on Wheels, WOFA gets ALS ambulance under CSR initiative. So ALS stands for Advanced Life Support and CSR is Corporate Social Responsibility. BJP Nagaland holds combined district Parikshan Mahabhiyan at RPM. So BJP Nagaland has conducted a combined district Prashikshan Mahabhiyan program for Waka, Pek and Kohima district at RPM village under Waka district. So the principle of Antyodaya means to focus on reaching the last person in the society. Okay. So the Woka Town Council called for greater public cooperation in waste segregation, emphasizing the proper disposal practices essential for maintaining cleanliness and improving waste management in the town. So regarding the solid waste management rule 2026, okay, so this is important. So these are some of the questions related to solid waste management rules. So it was notified under which act and it came into force from which date, month and year. And Solid Waste Management Rules 2026, it supersedes which previous rules, and under Solid Waste Management Rules 2026, source segregation is mandatory in how many streams, that is either 1, 2, 3, 4, or how many streams, try to recall all this. Since 2019, Wokha's Saki Center sees 159 cases, domestic violence stock list at 67. So this Saki One Stop Center, it operates under Mission Shakti, okay, which is an initiative of the Ministry of Women and Child Development. So Saki One Stop Center, it offers integrated support services such as emergency response, rescue support, legal aid, psychosocial counseling, temporary shelter, medical care, and video conferencing facilities for survivors of violence. We know about physical abuse, right? So what is economic abuse? So economic abuse includes denial of financial assistance and basic necessities to women and children, okay? A two-day vendor development program under raising and accelerating MSME performance scheme began in Zinaputo with an aim to strengthen the entrepreneurial ecosystem and create business opportunities for micro, small, and medium enterprises. And it was organized by YouthNet in collaboration with Department of Industries and Commerce. The government e-marketplace, it is an online platform for public procurement in India. This initiative was launched on August 9, 2016 by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, with the objective to create an open and transparent procurement platform for government buyers. Government e-marketplace facilitates online procurement of common use goods and services required by various government departments or organizations or PSU. Government e-marketplace, it aims to enhance transparency, efficiency, and speed in public procurement. It provides the tools of e-bidding, reverse e-auction, and demand aggregation to facilitate the government users achieve the best value for their money. So before government e-marketplace, public buying was largely manual. They were fragmented and they often lacked transparency. The tendering processes were slow, price discovery was poor, and smaller sellers found it difficult to access government contracts due to paperwork and middlemen. So government e-marketplace, it was needed to fix these gaps. So it created a single open and digital marketplace where government departments, PSU, and organizations can buy common goods and services with features like e-bidding, reverse e-auction, and demand aggregation, the platform brings efficiency, speed, and transparency. More importantly, it levels the playing field so that MSMEs, including those trained in programs like Vendor Development Program, can sell directly to the government without bias or delays. The Japan International Cooperation Agency funded Nagaland Forest Management Project. On May 2, inaugurated a council office constructed under entry point activity and a water harvesting structure at Shishilime village. So we have to remember this Nagaland Forest Management Project. Okay, it is being implemented by the Forest Department with the support of JICA, that is Japan International Cooperation Agency, and it is a people-centric initiative which is designed to address the needs identified at the village level. So it has been started during 2017 with an assistance from JICA. The main objective of this project is to improve the forest ecosystem and support income generation by rehabilitation of dune areas and provision of livelihood support, thereby contributing to sustainable forest and environmental conservation and livelihood improvement in target villages in the state. Zinaputo had launched PVTG Scheme Saturation Campaign. So PVTG stands for Particularly Vulnerable Tribal Groups. So the nationwide information, education, and communication campaign under PM Janman and DAA Jagua was held at DC's conference hall Zinaputo under the theme Jan Bhagidari Sabse Dur Sabse Pehle. This campaign it aimed to create awareness on government welfare schemes for tribal communities and conduct beneficiary saturation drives for particularly vulnerable tribal groups. So what is this PM Janman and DA Jagwa? PM Janman, it stands for Pradhan Mantri Jan Janati Adivasi Nyaya Maha Abhiyan. So it was launched in the year 2023 on Janjatiya Gaurav Divas, which marks the birth anniversary of Birsa Munda. So the main objective of PM Janman is to improve the living conditions of PVTG communities by ensuring access to basic services. And DA Jagwa, which stands for 30 Abha Jan Janati Gram Utkarsh Abhiyan, it was launched on Mahatma Gandhi's birthday, okay, that is October 2nd in the year 2024 from Hazaribagh, Jharkhand. So the main aim of DA Jagwa is to improve the socio-economic conditions of tribal communities by adopting saturation coverage for tribal families in tribal majority villages and aspirational districts. So Dharti Abad, it is referred to Birsa Munda, okay, and he was a 19th century tribal leader and anti-colonial icon from Jharkhand. So when it comes to PBTG, remember that the Bar Commission recommended the introduction of PBTG as a reaction to the inequalities among the scheduled tribes. It was actually originated as primitive tribal groups, okay, in the year 1975, but it was renamed as PBTG in the year 2006. So what are the defining criteria for PBTGs? So these are the defining criteria that is pre-agricultural technology, subsistence economy, low literacy, and stagnant or decreasing population. So regarding the demographic distribution, PBTGs are found in 18 states and one UT, okay? And currently there are 75 PBTGs, that is 75 particularly vulnerable tribal groups in India. So Odisha has the highest number of distinct PBTGs communities, that is 13, okay? Whereas Madhya Pradesh, it holds the highest absolute population of PBTGs. So, as per Census 2011, okay, the tribal population constitutes about 8.9% of the total population in India. So, these are some of the facts which are important for exam. An endangered slow loris was rescued from Zanaputo town and it was safely released into the wild at the Sukhoi Community Conservation Area. So, slow loris are endangered. And these are the features of slow loris. They are small nocturnal creatures and are characterized by their large brown eyes, which are adapted for night vision. They have compact bodies, short snouts, dense furs, and distinctive facial markings. So on average, they measure 20 to 37 centimeters. Slow lorises each have a small bare patch under their arm that secretes oil. When they feel threatened, they lick this oil, which combines with their saliva to create a venom strong enough to kill small anthropods and mammals. So they are skilled hunters and they use their slow and deliberate movements to catch prey like insects and small vertebrates. They also have a specialized tooth comb, a unique structure created by their bottom front teeth and they use for grooming and extracting gum from trees. So slow lorises are generally solitary and territorial animals. They have the ability to stay motionless for long periods and they are omnivorous. Two new spider species were discovered in Nagaland and they were named as Ceturus N2 and Ceturus pensionu after the villages of N2 and pensionu where they were discovered. So these two spider species are lace sheet weaver spiders, okay? The Department of Horticulture, Government of Nagaland had signed a tripartite memorandum of understanding with Natural Fuel India, Chamakutima, and Satwara Farming Group Gujarat to develop a sustainable horticulture value chain in the state through a public-private partnership model. So this partnership it aims to promote contract farming, cluster-based cultivators, post-harvest management, processing, and value addition of horticultural produce across Nagaland, leveraging private sector enterprise and market access for the benefit of local farmers. So under this agreement, the partners will focus on developing pineapple cultivation clusters and scaling up high-value crops including kiwi, lychee, rambutan, and spices. The Department of Industries and Commerce, in collaboration with Nagaland Industrial Development Corporation, organized a two-day technology clinic on meat processing from slaughter to end product under the Rising and Accelerating MSME Performance Grant. So RAMP, okay, it was launched in the year 2022, okay, and it is a World Bank supported initiative of the government of India. And it was launched as part of post-COVID-19 recovery efforts, which was aimed to strengthen market access, improve credit availability, and build capacity among MSME. So currently, RAM is being implemented only in 8 districts of Nagaland. So remember this. So RAM promotes Naturally Nagaland. So Naturally Nagaland, it is a comparatively new initiative of the government of Nagaland that was kick-started under the objective of monetizing organic agri and allied products of Nagaland through value chain development. So this idea of Naturally Nagaland, okay, it was conceived in the year 2020 and initiated by former Chief Secretary late Tamjan Toy. So Department of Post Government of India has officially recognized 19 notified tribal languages and dialects of Nagaland as eligible criteria in the recruitment of Brahmin Dak Sevaks. So postal service in India was started by which of the Governor General of British India in the year 1854, and in which place was the first post office of India established by British East India Company in the year 1976, and when is National Postal Week celebrated? That is in which month? So International Nurses Day is celebrated on May 12th. This year theme was Our Nurses, Our Future, Empowered Nurses, Save Lives. So this day is celebrated every year in tribute to Florence Nightingale. Okay. And World Kids Athletics Day is celebrated on May 7th. World No Tobacco Day is observed on May 31. And this year theme was Unmasking the Appeal, Countering Nicotine and Tobacco Addiction. So in Nagaland, okay. In Nagaland, as per Global Adult Tobacco Survey India 2016 to 17, okay, 43.3% of adults use tobacco, which is much higher than the national average of 28.6%, ranking the state 8th in the country. And according to the 2019 Global Youth Tobacco Survey, it showed that 43% of Nagaland school children who are aged between 13 to 15 they use tobacco, 62% of boys and 24% of girls, making it the state with the second highest youth tobacco use in India. Okay, so these are some of the facts. Menstrual Hygiene Day celebrated on 28 May 2026. Team is together for a period friendly India. World Hypertension Day celebrated on May 17. Team is controlling hypertension together. Global Accessibility Awareness Day. It is observed, okay, annually on third Thursday of May. So this Global Accessibility Awareness Day, it is celebrated, it is observed, okay, to promote digital accessibility and inclusion of persons with disabilities. In a move aimed at strengthening livestock farming and digital livestock extension services in the Northeast, the mobile application CAUI Pashu Sati, okay, this is a mobile application and it was launched during the 8th College Extension Advisory Committee meeting held at College of Veterinary Sciences and Animal Husbandry, Jammu, under the Central Agriculture University. So CAUI Pashu Sati, it is an app which is designed as a digital support platform for piggery and poultry farmers, okay, in the Northeast region, with particular emphasis on farming communities in Nagaland. So this initiative, it seeks to provide scientific livestock management practices, disease prevention guidance, nutrition-related information, and improve access to veterinary advisory services through a user-friendly digital interface. So along with the rest of the country, healthcare workers in Nagaland observed neonatal resuscitation program day on May 10, a part of the landmark nationwide initiative by the National Neonatal Forum India to improve newborn survival. So infant mortality rate is the number of deaths of infants under how many years of age per how many lives birth. So try to recall this. World Red Cross Day is celebrated on May 8th, and the founder of Red Cross is Henry Dunant. Beauty Barn, the founder is Toinali Chopi, okay? From Nagaland has announced the signing of an exclusive memorandum of understanding with Myungwon Co. Limited, which is a leading Korean inner beauty and healthcare brand. The 36th death anniversary of Zapu Piso, universally known as AZ Piso or Angami Zapu Piso, was observed, okay, in Kohima. So remember this date of birth and date of death of AZ Piso. He was the president of Naga National Council. Naga National Council was founded in February 1946. Piso also led Naga National Plebiscite of 16th May 1951. So this date and month, okay, the same with the birth date of AZ Piso. You just have to remember this year, that is 1904. So Naga Nation was founded on the principle and slogan Ura Uve, which means our country is ours. So late Kuldeep Nair, the then Indian High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, facilitated the return of Piso's mortal remains in accordance with the wishes of the Naga people. And so actually he passed away at London, okay, at the age of 86. So the Naga leader was finally brought to Dimapur on 10th of May 1990 after a 3-day workshop come hackathon on agentic AI Saksham was held from May 7 to 9 at Kohima Science College in partnership with capable.in. So the first prize was awarded to Corollary. Okay, so this Corollary, it is an AI powered study engine application It was developed by MSc second semester mathematics student Rongsun Chetan T. Jamir, Renjung Jamir, Nitesh Devnath, and Arishi Chache. So remember this corollary. What is this? It is an AI powered study engine. The second prize it went to Hill Alert. Okay, so Hill Alert, it is a landslide reporting application intended for use in Nagaland, and then AnyDex, it is an AI integrated wildlife encyclopedia capable of identifying animals through image scanning and providing related information. The State Council of Educational Research and Training, Nagaland, has apologized for a spelling error in the name of Kamyungan. So this spelling is important. Okay, in the previous year exams, they have already upped the spelling. It is pronounced as and it is written as Kamyungan. Okay, but in the textbook, it was incorrectly printed as Kamyungam. So remember the spelling. Science, technology, and engineering and mathematics STEM education in Nagaland currently stands at 14%, while the national level has crossed 40%. So Catholic schools recorded 91.3% pass rate in Nagaland. CISCE results, Nagaland records 100% pass. So this gives an overview of the performance of the students in government as well as in private schools. So in the year 2026, government higher secondary school not only led in overall pass percentage in one stream, but also produced more institutions with perfect results than private schools in two streams. In 2026, the government, private, and overall pass percentage in the arts stream stood at 82.04%, 90.13%, and 85.78%. So that means private pass percentage in arts stream was 90.13 and government it was 82.04%, so which is not bad. In science stream, private institutions held a higher slight edge at 87.36% against 84.93%. So the comparison is so the difference is very less when we compare the private and government schools. But in case of commerce stream, okay, government schools, they recorded a pass percentage of 88.97%, which was significantly higher than the private institutions at 81.87%. So Nagaland records 87.12% in CPSC Class 12 results 2025 to 26 academic session. The DC of Kohima has directed all accommodation providers and medical institutions in the district to mandatorily record the arrival and presence of foreigners and overseas citizens of India card holders invoking provision of the Immigration and Foreigners Act 2025. So according to this, the order is legally binding on hotels, guest houses, homestays, private rental hospitals, and nursing homes to report such individuals to the Foreigners Regional Registration Officer, Kolkata, under Section 8 Clause 1 and Section 10 of the Immigration and Foreigners Act 2025. So these are the provisions. Under Rule 17 Clause 5 and Rule 18 Clause 5 of the Immigration and Foreigners Rules 2025, accommodation and medical facility operators must electronically transmit Form 3 within 24 hours of a foreigner's arrival, okay, via the designated portal or the mobile application Indian Visa Swagatam. All accommodation providers are further required under Rule 17 Clause 1 to maintain records of foreigners, which must be preserved and produced on demand by registration officer, district magistrate, or any police officer not below the rank of head constable. So universities and educational institutions enrolling foreign students are also required under Rule 16 to electronically submit Form 3 for students residing in hostels. The Center Jakasang Public Organization has approved the change of nomenclature from Center Jakasang Sports Association to Center Jakasang Youth Organization. Not that important, but just for you to be aware. Government Hindi Institute in Oriental Colony Council, Dimapur, has been functioning since June 1985. So the institute was originally established in the year 1968. The institute currently teaches up to class 12. So this institute has been in the news due to Nagaland state government's proposed plan to relocate the institute to Inter-Service Teacher Training Institute at Mezipima. So this proposed move has sparked significant outcry from local civil society and student organizations, including the Oriental Colony Council and then the Dimapur Nagaland Students Union and the Central Nagaland Students Association. So I thought of just adding this here. The Airport Authority of India took over 18.8 acres of land from the Assam Rifles Training Center and School at Third Mile Chumupitima for the first phase development of Dimapur Airport. Founded by designer Asana Jamir Utse, showcased two original looks during the launch or presentation of Padma Dore. followed by a 3-day public exhibition in the Travancore Palace, New Delhi. This showcase was organized by Northeastern Handicrafts and Handlooms Development Corporation under the Ministry of Development of Northeastern Region. So Utsa collection explored how the tactile density of eri silk. So eri silk is also called as ahimsa silk because it is produced without killing the silkworm and could coexist with the fluidity and lightweight finesse associated with Chanderi weaving traditions from Madhya Pradesh. So remember this, Chanderi is associated with Madhya Pradesh, okay? And eri silk is also known as ahimsa silk. Why? Because it is produced without killing the silkworm. BJP legislator Dawchir I. Imchan took oath of office as the member of the 14th NLA Assembly following his victory in the recent by-election to the 28 Koreidang ST Assembly constituency. So the oath was administered by Speaker Sharingan Longkamar at his office chamber in Kohima. So he secured 7,317 votes, defeating his nearest rival, independent candidate, Major Tushikaba, by a margin of 3,123 votes. So Daucher Imchen, he succeeds his father, late Imfung El Imchen, okay, who had represented the constituency since 2003 and won 5 consecutive terms before his demise in November 2025. Kohima Group of National Cadet Corps brought laurels to Nagaland after securing multiple honors at the NCC Northeastern Region Annual Awards 2025 to 26 on May 5. So senior under officer Nuve Kolodozo received the late flag officer Simon Kachari Memorial Award. Kumcholi Anar was named the best senior division cadet from Nagaland. Suyim Naro, the best senior wing cadet from the state. Hitobi Sumi and Mongshai Shioti, the best male ANO and best female ANO. St. Xavier High Secondary School was recognized as the overall best school, and Fazil Ali College was named the overall best college in Nagaland. One NL Air Squadron was also adjudged the best air squadron in the Northeast region. Nagaland state, along with three other states, Gujarat, Rajasthan, and Karnataka, was felicitated by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India for the performance of DigiLocal integration during the National Consultative Workshop on Strengthening Cybersecurity Framework for the State Data on 11 May 2026 at New Delhi. So DigiLocker was launched in which year by Government of India? Alobo Naga and Toinali Chopi from Nagaland won Who's Next NE honors. So Who's Next Influencer Awards 2026 was held at Taj Tal Kutir. So Alobo Naga received the Face of Any Influence Award, while Toinali Chopi was conferred the NE Entrepreneur of the Year Award. Nagaland-based multidisciplinary design studio Tribolt had been conferred with the AD New Wave Award, a top honor by Architectural Digest India that recognizes 25 emerging designers and studios from the Indian subcontinent for their originality, innovation, and design vision. So the co-founders of Tribolt are Ajong Yadin and then Atum Longkamar. So AD New Wave Award, it is presented annually by Architectural Digest of India to celebrate the most promising creative talents shaping the future of design across the subcontinent. Nagaland Minister for Tourism and Higher Education, Timjan Imna Alom, will be conferred the Global Blue Tourism Innovation Award at the Blue Economy Summit 2026. So Blue Economic Summit 2026 will be held in New Delhi on June 5 and 6. Reverend Dr. Lima Jamir appointed as Council of Baptist Churches in Northeast India. President. 24-year-old Tungji Bemo Ism from Nagaland has been selected to participate in the annual meeting of the New Champions 2026, which is organized by World Economics Forum, and it will be held in Dalian, China from June 23rd to 25. So Tungjim Bemo, a founder and youth leader, will attend the event as part of the Global Shapers Community Youth Delegation. He is only one of 7 delegates representing South Asia. The annual meeting of New Champion is widely known as Summer Davis, and it is one of the World Economic Forum's flagship gatherings focused on entrepreneurship, frontier technologies, innovation, and next generation economic growth. So the 2026 edition, it is themed Innovating at Scale. Nagaland guitarist Imna Jamir becomes official the Adario endorsed. Trans Effect earns international endorsement from FGN Guitars. So FGN Guitars is also known as Fujigen. 25 Years of Glory, it is the official theme song of 25th Dr. T. Trophy. Nagaland-based mixed martial arts fighter Abizo Lanamai registered a split decision victory over Shamanand of Bihar in the featherweight division of the 18th edition of Matrix Fight Night, which was held at Uttar Pradesh. Nagaland grabs 11 medals at the Kolkata Open Pickleball 2026, 8 gold and 3 silver. Nagaland Taekwondo Association delivered a stellar performance at the second Meghalaya Open Taekwondo Championship. So they got 33 medals, 13 gold, 12 silver, and 8 bronze. 10th Asian Senior Pencastilat Championship 2026 will be held in Dong Nai province in Vietnam. Okay. And FIBA Under 18 Asia Cup Sabah qualifiers will be held in Sri Lanka from May 25 to 29. So this is associated with basketball. Kohima Red Tigers, they won the second women futsal league, okay, which was held at Kohima at Indira Gandhi Stadium. The United Girls Kohima, okay, they secured the runners-up position. Dr. Alok Kumar Kanogo and then Ali Nosumi, okay, they authored a new book titled Naga, the Knowledge Practitioners, published by Routledge. The Naga talks that nine deadlocks and the search for a solution. So it was authored by Okenjit Sandam, okay. So she is Vishu Rita Kocha. She is the current president of Kohima Press Club. Nehu No Shohei from Nagaland. She was conferred with the Padma Shri Award in the year 2023 for her contribution in the field of arts. She was in the news, so that's why I've included here. Nagaland Bar Association. It was formally constituted in the year 1969. Nagaland Tribal Ho-Host Coordination Committee and the Eastern Nagaland People's Organization unanimously resolved to induct the ENPO into the Coordination Committee, expanding the Apex Tribal Coordination Body to represent 15 tribes of Nagaland. So now the Nagaland Tribal Ho-Host Coordination Committee will represent 15 tribes, namely Angami Ao, Chaksang, Chang, Kamingan, Konya, Koka, Pom, Churi, Rengma, Sangtum Sumi, Tikir, Yumkyung, and Zilium. The government of Nagaland has declared the holiday on account of Eid ul Zuha Bakrid in all offices under government of Nagaland will now be observed on 28, okay, instead of 27. So regarding Eid, okay, it is known as the festival of sacrifice and it is celebrated by Muslims. The story is similar to Abraham and Isaac from the Bible. The Naga National Council will observe 76 Naga Voluntary Publicized Day on May 16th. The Naga National Council, let's have a quick recall. NNC, okay, it was founded on which year? That is 1946 in the month of Feb. And 16 May, the date, the same date and month where when AZ Pizza was born, the year was 1904. And AZ Pizzo, he died on 30 April 1990. The Naga National Council and the federal government of Nagaland has opposed the proposed installation of the Indian Air Force mountain radar system at Futsal. So regarding REIN, Register of Indigenous Inhabitants of Nagaland. This is the master list of all indigenous inhabitants of Nagaland and it was launched by Government of Nagaland in the year 2019. So the Department of Economics and Statistics has notified that the manual registration of births and deaths across the state it will be discontinued with effect from May 31st of 2026 and it will be made 100% online system from June 1st. The government of Nagaland has appointed Commission of Nagaland as the regulator for the state under the Banning of Unregulated Deposit Schemes Act 2019 and Additional Secretary Revenue of the Finance Department as the competent authority. Fresh elections to 3 municipal wards in Nagaland, that is in Ward 11 of Chumukitima Town Council, Ward 8 of Buka Town Council, and Ward 9 of Atoizu Town Council. So the State Election Commission of Nagaland has ordered fresh elections to these 3 municipal wards across this state following casual vacancies. So fresh elections to be held in accordance with Section 30 of the Nagaland Municipal Act 2023. So Section 30, casual vacancy. According to Section 30 of the Nagaland Municipal Act, whenever a vacancy occurs by death or the election of a member is declared void, the chairperson of the municipal council or town council shall inform the government of such vacancy. And whenever a vacancy occurs by death, resignation, and removal or otherwise of an elected member or the election of an elected member is declared void, the vacancy shall be filled by fresh election. And the person so elected shall hold office not so long as the person in whose place is elected would have held had the vacancy not occurred. So here we have to know that whenever there is a vacancy, okay, occurred by death or by resignation or by removal or if the election of member is declared void, the chairperson of the municipal council or town council, he or she has to inform the government of such a vacancy and then fresh elections will be conducted. If the vacancy occurred is for a period of less than 6 months, okay, then it should not be necessary to hold the election to fill such vacancy. Now, regarding Rule 10, Rule 20, and 81 of the Nagaland Municipal Election Rules 2023. So, Rule 10, it talks about the composition of municipal council. So, who shall be the members? So, the municipal council will consist of elected, ex officio, and nominated members. Government may, by a notification, divide the municipal council area into territorial constituencies to be known as wards for the purpose of filling up the seats in the municipal council by direct election, who shall be members. Okay. The member of Lok Sabha from Nagaland, member of Rajya Sabha from Nagaland, and members of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly constituencies, which comprise wholly or partly the municipal council area, shall be ex officio members. So, who will be the ex officio members of the municipal council? So, those are members of Lok Sabha from members of Lok Sabha from Nagaland, and members of Rajya Sabha from Nagaland, and members of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly constituencies shall be the ex officio members. And regarding nominated members, okay, the government by a notification will nominate such members not exceeding 1/5 of the elected members. So if the elected members is suppose say 10, okay, so 1/5 of 10 will be how much? That means only the nominated members should not exceed 2 members, okay, from the elected members, again, not from the ex officio members. So focus here, this is for elected members, okay, not ex officio members. So ex officio members should not be considered. And remember that the ex officio members and nominated members, they are not eligible to vote in the meetings of municipality. Only the elected members are eligible to vote. So these are some of the points that you have to know. Rule 20, Constitution of Town Council. Clause 1. For every town council area, there shall be constituted a town council. So clause 1 says that every area that is declared a town council area must have its own town council. So if the government marks an area as a town council area, a council has to be created for it. Clause 2. Every town council shall have a body corporate by the name given by the state government at the time of constitution of the town council and shall have a perpetual succession and a common seal with power subject to the provisions of this act to acquire, hold, or dispose of properties and may by this said name sue and be sued. So clause 2 explains what a town council actually is in legal terms. It says that a town council is a body corporate. That means that it is treated like a separate legal person. The state government gives it a name when it is created, and it will continue to exist even if the members change, and it has its own official seal. Because it is a legal body, the council can buy, own, or sell property, and it can also go to court under its own name, either to file a case or to defend one. But all this has to be done according to the rules in this act. Clause 3. Members elected in a general election or a by-election of a town council in accordance with the provisions of any law relating to municipal elections in the state shall constitute the town council. Clause 4. The town council shall, unless dissolved earlier, continue for a period of 5 years from the date of its first meeting after the general election and no longer. So clause 3, it tells us who forms the town council. The people who get elected in the general election or in a by-election according to the state's municipal election laws are the ones who make up the town council. So the council is basically formed by the elected members. And clause 4, it sets the term of the town council. So once it is formed after an election, it will work for 5 years starting from the date of its first meeting. It cannot go beyond 5 years unless it is dissolved earlier for some reason. So clause 5, an election to constitute a town council shall be completed as the case may be before the expiry of the period specified in subsection 4 or before the expiry of the period of 6 months from the date of the resolution provided that where the remainder of the period for which the dissolved town council would have continued is less than 6 months, it shall not be necessary to hold an election for constitution of the town council or for such period. So clause 5 deals with when the next election must be held. It says that the election to form a new town council has to be finished either before the current council's 5-year term ends or within 6 months if the council gets dissolved early. But there is an exception. If the council is dissolved and less than 6 months are left in its original 5-year term, then the government does not need to hold an election for a short period. Now, what is clause 6? The town council constituted upon its dissolution for the expiration of the period specified in subsection 4 shall continue only for the remainder of the period for which the dissolved town council would have continued, subsection 4, had it not been so dissolved. Clause 6 is about what happens if a council is dissolved early and a new one is elected. The new council that comes in after the dissolution does not get a fresh 5-year term. It will only work for the time period that was left in the old council's term. So if the old council was dissolved after 3 years, the new one will serve only for the remaining 2 years. Now, clause 7 and clause 8. Clause 7, it covers what happens in a brand new town council area. So when an area is just declared a town council area, the authority that was managing it before will continue to look after it. So this is only temporary for a maximum of 6 months from the date the area is notified. So this gives time to hold elections and to set up new town council. And clause 8, it explains what happens if an election cannot be held on time. So if for some reason the general election is not possible before the 5-year term ends, the town council will automatically stand dissolved when the 5 years are over. After that, the state government will appoint an ambassador or board of ambassadors to run the town. So this person or group will take over the powers and duties of the town council until a new one is elected. Now, regarding Rule 81 of the Nagaland Municipality Act 2023, it gives power to the state government. It says the government can give directions or policy guidelines to municipalities from time to time. These directions have to be in line with this act and its rule. So once the government issues them, it is the duty of the municipalities and town councils to follow these directions while doing their work. So Section 15 of the Nagaland Municipal Act 2023. So Section 15, it deals with the removal of the chairperson or deputy chairperson. So clause 1, it says that the municipal council can remove the chairperson or deputy chairperson from their post. This is done by passing a motion that shows that the council no longer has confidence in them, and the whole process has to follow the rules given in this section. So clause 2, it explains how to start this process. A written notice must be prepared saying that the members want to move a no confidence motion against the chairperson or deputy chairperson. So remember that this written notice, okay? And this notice must be signed at least half of the total elected members who are serving at that time. So remember that ex-officio members and the nominated members, okay? They are not counted for this. So along with the notice, a copy of the actual motion must be attached, and any two members who signed the notice must then hand it over to the deputy commissioner. And clause 3, it tells us what the deputy commissioner does after getting the notice. So once the deputy commissioner receives it, he has to call a meeting of the municipal council to discuss the motion. So this meeting must be held at the municipal council office, and the date and time will be fixed by the deputy commissioner, but it cannot be more than 14 days from the day he received the notice. And clause 4, it is about informing all the members of the meeting. So the deputy commissioner must send a notice about the meeting to every elected member at their home. This notice must be sent at least 7 full days before the meeting date. Nominated and ex-officio members are excluded here too. The deputy commissioner also has to publish the notice in a way that he thinks is proper. So once this is done, every elected member is considered to have received the notice, even if they didn't physically get it. On clause 5, it states that the deputy commissioner himself will chair the special meeting. No one else will preside over it. And clause 6, it sets the rule for passing the motion. The no confidence motion will only be considered passed if the majority of the elected members who are present and voting support it. So just being present is not enough. They must vote, and more than half of those voting must say yes. Clause 7, it explains the effect if the motion is passed. As soon as the motion is carried under clause 6, the chairperson or deputy chairperson is treated as having left the office. They are automatically removed from their post. And clause 8, It says that after the municipal council passes the motion, the deputy commissioner has to send a report about it to the state government. And clause 9, it puts a restriction on that meeting. The meeting called for the no confidence motion cannot discuss any other topic. Only the motion against the chairperson or deputy chairperson can be taken up. So section 60F, it talks about the quorum, which is the minimum number of members needed for the meeting to be valid. So clause 1, it says that for an ordinary meeting, at least one third of the total elected members must be present. And then in case of a special meeting, the requirement is higher. At least half of the total elected members who are serving at the time must be present. So clause 2, this covers what happens if there are not enough members present. If the quorum is not met in an ordinary or special meeting, the person running the meeting must postpone it to another date. At that adjourned meeting, all the work that was supposed to be done earlier can be carried out even if the quorum is still not present. So the work will not be held forever just because members are absent in the second meeting. So this is what it means. So SIR will be like a revision topic because it has been in the news for quite a while. Now, special intensive revision phase 3 in Nagaland, it will be from August 16. The Election Commission of India has ordered a special intensive revision of electoral rolls in 16 states and 3 union territories, including Nagaland, with the final electoral roll for the state scheduled for publication on November 22nd, 2026. The qualifying date for special intensive revision in Nagaland has been fixed as October 1st, 2026. From here, you have to remember the Chief Electoral Officer of Nagaland, okay? Bhagyashri Banayat, IAS, and Chief Election Commissioner is Gyanesh Kumar. So here's a question for you. Which state became the first in India to complete 100% digitization of its electoral rolls under the Special Intensive Revision Program? So when it comes to SIR, okay, it is legally backed by Article 324 of the Constitution and Section 21 of the Representation of the People Act 1950. So SIR, it is a house-to-house verification and it is done to ensure enrollment of all eligible citizens. It is done by booth level officers and it is a very thorough and elaborate voter list verification and revision process whereby no eligible voter should be left out or any ineligible person be included in the electoral roll in order to ensure the integrity of the electoral roll for the conduct of free and fair election. A booth level officer is typically a government or semi-government employee who is familiar with the voters in a particular area and generally resides or casts their vote in the same locality. Their primary responsibility is to assist in updating the electoral roll by using their on-ground knowledge. And as per Section 13B, Clause 2 of the Representation of the People Act 1950, BLOs are selected from staff working in government schools, government offices, and various local bodies. So a BLO acts as the grassroots representative of the Election Commission of India, and their key duties include ensuring the electoral roll is accurate and free of errors, collecting, verifying, and revising voter information, supplying necessary forms for inclusion, deletion, or correction of voter details, assisting eligible residents in registering as voters and obtaining voter ID cards, conducting field verification and sending reports to the electoral registration officer. They also coordinate with residents and political parties representatives to identify voters who have died, relocated, or have duplicate entries so that they can be removed. This makes their work demanding and labor intensive. Nagaland launches training for Census 2027 master trainers. So 6 master trainers for Nagaland, okay, including 4 from the state government and 2 from the Directorate of Census Operations. The master trainers will subsequently train 130 field trainers who will in turn train around 6,000 enumerators and supervisors for the census exercise in the coming days. So here's a question for you. Census 2027 will be the Dutch edition or in the country and the Dutch edition after independence. Who is the Registrar General and Census Commissioner of India at present? So Nagaland Census 2027 step-by-step user guide for self-enumeration. So in exercise of the powers conferred by Rule 8, Clause 2b and 7 of the Census Rule 1990, made under the provision of the Census Act 1947 and in conformity with the government's commitment to a Digital India initiative, the government of Nagaland has issued the following directives regarding the step-by-step user guide for self-enumeration for Phase 1 of Census 2027. So in self-enumeration process, It will be for a 15-day period, okay, from June 16 to 30 of 2026. So self-enumeration, it is a process in which the residents, they fill and submit their household data online. So these are the various steps. So you can go through this. So step 6, 7, 8, and 9. So remember that after you have successfully completed your submission, okay, a unique 11-digit SEID with a prefix H will be generated and displayed. So when you get this ID, you have to take a screenshot or you can note it down. The ID will also be sent via the SMS or email. From here on, we will be covering schemes and various bodies. So when you see topics like, say, Nagaland State Rural Livelihoods Mission, try to recall everything you know about it. These are repeated topics because I intentionally include the same schemes again and again. So the reason is active recall. Active recall plays a very important role when you're preparing for competitive exams, and that's why I repeat them. So when you see this, don't just passively follow the video. Pause and try to recall everything, like the launch date, when it was started, the objectives, whether it was a centrally sponsored scheme or not, and the eligibility criteria. So doing this will help you recall better. So treat this like an activity. Don't just watch. Pause the video and recall and test yourself on every scheme that comes up. So let's start with Nagaland State Rural Livelihood Mission. So it was established on 13th of September 2012, and it is the implementing agency of National Rural Livelihood Mission in the state of Nagaland. It is the human development program which is aimed at poverty reduction by increasing the household income through sustainable livelihood and improved access to financial services. Now, regarding livestock insurance scheme, the livestock insurance activity under the National Livestock Mission, it operates on a demand-driven basis. The scheme provides insurance coverage for certain livestock, enabling farmers to avail affordable protection. So the beneficiaries will pay a uniform of 15% premium share, okay, while the remaining 85% will be subsidized by the central and state governments, which means that this livestock insurance scheme, it is a centrally sponsored scheme. Each household will be eligible to insure up to 10 cattle units. The implementing agency is Department of Animal Husbandry, Dairy and Fisheries. In Nagaland, the Department of Animal Husbandry and Veterinary Sciences is the nodal implementing agency. The government of India has set a target of 3,000 units for Nagaland under the scheme for both 2025 to 26 and 2026 to 27. Regarding the National Livestock Mission, it was launched as a centrally sponsored scheme in which year, okay? It was realigned in the year 2021 to 22 by the government of India. The scheme promotes sustainable and holistic development of the livestock sector and focus on enhancing productivity and addressing the challenges in feed, breeding, and health. Now, Chief Minister Health Insurance Scheme, it was launched on 14 October 2022. Chief Minister Health Insurance Scheme, it is a flagship public health insurance act initiative by Government of Nagaland. It was designed to provide cashless treatment to eligible beneficiaries. So Chief Minister Health Insurance Scheme, it bridges the gap for government employees, pensioners, and indigenous inhabitants or permanent residents of Nagaland who are not covered under Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. Okay. So in convergence with the Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, the scheme is referred to as the Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana Chief Minister Health Insurance Scheme. And it offers comprehensive health insurance benefits across two categories, that is for employee and pensioner coverage 20 lakh per year per family, and the general category 5 lakh per year per family. And who are eligible? Government employees, regular employees serving legislators, public sector's employees, and fixed pay or work charge employees on scale pay, dependent family members, and pensioners, pensionable retired government employees, ex-legislator, dependent family members. Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. It was launched on September 23, 2018 to achieve universal health care. So this is the world's largest publicly funded health assurance scheme, and it offers up to rupees 5 lakh per family per year for secondary and tertiary care hospitalization. Okay, so remember this. PM Ayushman Bharat Health Infrastructure Mission. It was launched in October 2021. It was launched to address the gaps in India's healthcare system exposed by COVID-19 pandemic and to enhance preparedness for future health crises. The mission advances universal health coverage goals and aligns with SDG 3 targets. It aims to bridge the service delivery gaps between urban and then rural areas. So it is a centrally sponsored scheme and it focuses on strengthening health infrastructure at all levels from primary and secondary to tertiary during the financial year 2021 to 22 to financial year 2025 to 26. Samagra Siksha Scheme. So this scheme, it is a comprehensive initiative that brings together all aspects of school education from preschool to class 12 under one umbrella. It was created by merging three earlier schemes, that is Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, and then the teacher education. The aim is to ensure a more coordinated and efficient delivery of quality education across all levels. It was launched in the year 2018 by the Ministry of Education, and it is a centrally sponsored scheme. Pradhan Mantri Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana. It was launched on 16 July 2025. It is a landmark initiative for transforming India's agricultural landscape. So under this, okay, this scheme is designed to catalyze growth in 100 agri districts and through saturation-based convergence of 36 central schemes across 11 ministries. Annual outlay rupees 24,000 crore for a period of 6 years. So the implementation had already begun, that is from the financial year 2025. So it is projected to benefit 1.7 crore farmers directly. So the objectives of PM Dhanya Krishi Yojana, that is to enhance agricultural productivity, encourage crop diversification and sustainable agriculture practices, augment post-harvest storage capacity at panchayat and block levels, and improve irrigation infrastructure for reliable water access, enabling greater access to short-term and long-term agricultural credit for farmers. So since this scheme is designed to catalyze growth in 100 agri districts. Okay, so how are the districts selected? So the districts are selected based on this. That is low productivity, low crop intensity, less credit disbursement. Also, the number of districts in each state or UT will be based on the share of net crop area. So net crop area refers to the total area of the land that is sown with crops in a given agricultural year. Okay, but it is counted only once. Okay, even if multiple crops are grown on the same land during that year. However, a minimum of one district from each state is to be selected. That means from each state, at least one district should be selected. So from Nagaland, okay, which district was selected as the aspirational agricultural district from for the Pradhan Mantri Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana? If you know this answer, well and good for you. If you don't know, you try to search this answer. And regarding the aspirational district program, it was launched in the year 2018 in the month of Jan. So aspirational district program, it aims to quickly and effectively transform 112 most underdeveloped districts across the country. Unnati 2024, which stands for Uttar Purva Transformative Industrialization Scheme. It was launched in the year 2024. So this scheme, it aims to develop industries and generate employment in the Northeast region. So this is specifically for Northeast region. So what are the salient features? It is effective from the date of notification until 31 March 2034 with 8 years of committed liabilities. The scheme total cost is rupees 10,037 crore, covering a 10-year period with an additional 8 years for committed liabilities. All eligible industries units to commence their production operation within 4 years from the grant of registration. Zone classification. So districts are classified into Zone A and Zone B. Zone A is industrially advanced and Zone B industrially backward for incentives. Funds allocation 60% of Part A outlay earmarked for 8 northeastern states and 40% allotted for the first in, first out basis. Implementation strategy. The Department of Promotion and Industry and Internal Trade will implement the scheme in collaboration with states overseen by national and state level committees. Pradhan Mantri Formalization of Micro Food Processing Enterprises. So it was launched on 29 June 2020 and it is a centrally sponsored scheme that focuses on the growth and formalization of micro food units across the country. So this scheme is part of the Atma Nirbhar Bharat Abhiyan and it supports the vocal for local vision in the food processing sector. So the scheme runs from 2020 to 21 to 2025 to 26 with an outlay of rupees 10,000 crore. So the goal is to make micro enterprises more competitive, bring them into the organized sector, and unlock new opportunities for growth. PM Vishwakarma, it is a central sector scheme and it was launched on 17 September 2023 So this scheme it covers artisans and craftspeople engaged in 18 trades. Okay, so six traditional trades have been identified for training programs in Nagaland as of 25th May 2026. And a total of 1,939 artisans have been trained under PM Vishwakarma in Nagaland. Prime Minister Employment Generation Program. So it is a central sector scheme and it is administered by Ministry of MSME. The objective is to generate employment opportunities in rural as well as urban areas of the country through setting up of new self-employment ventures, projects, or micro enterprises. To bring together widely dispersed traditional artisans, rural and urban unemployed youth and give them self-employment opportunities to the extent possible at their place. And then to provide continuous and sustainable empowerment to a large segment of traditional and prospective artisans and rural and urban unemployed youth in the country, so as to help arrest migration of rural youth to urban areas, to increase the wage earning capacity of workers and artisans, and contribute to increase in the growth rate of rural and urban employment. So who are eligible? So all individuals who are above 18 years of age are eligible. There will be no income ceiling for assistance for setting up projects under PMEGP. For setting up a projects costing above 10 lakh in the manufacturing sector and above rupees 5 lakh in the business sector, the beneficiaries should possess at least 8 standard pass educational qualification. The implementing agency is Khadi and Village Industries Commission. Next mission Vatsalya, it was launched as a centrally sponsored scheme since the year 2021. Okay. So this scheme it is a roadmap to achieve development and child protection priorities aligned with the sustainable development goals. It lays emphasis on child rights advocacy and awareness along with strengthening of the juvenile justice care and protection system with a motto to leave no child behind. So the nodal ministry is the Ministry of Women and Child Development. The Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act 2015 provisions and the POXCO Act 2012. Okay, they form the basic framework for implementation of Mission Vatsalya. So here BBG Ramji and then Manrega has been in the news, and I believe most of you are aware of this topic. So I'll just quickly go through this one. So from July 1st, 2026, okay. So remember this date. The new BBG Ramji scheme, it will take place of Manrega for rural jobs. The core idea is to replace the old 2005 law with either more strict and tech-driven system because the government had said that Manrega had faced issues like fund misuse and very few households actually got the full 100 days of work. So the biggest shift here is how the scheme runs. First, the work guarantee goes up from 100 days to 125 days for each rural household, and that becomes the standard entitlement. So remember this first shift that is from 100 days to 125 days. Second, the money part changes. Earlier, the center paid 100% of wages, but now most states will have to share the cost. That is, for northeastern state, it will be 90 is to 10. That is, 90 will be paid by the center, and then the 10 will be paid by the state. So that puts more financial pressure on states. The third is funding is no longer demand based. So the center will set a fixed yearly budget for each state, and if a state spends beyond that limit, the state itself has to cover it. The fourth is to help the farmers. So the work will be paused for 60 days during peak sowing and harvesting season so that the farmer labor doesn't get pulled away. And finally, all projects must now start from village level Gram Panchayat plans and focus mainly on water, rural infrastructure, livelihoods, and climate related works. So in short, it promises more days of work, but with stricter budget caps, cost sharing by states, and planned breaks during farming season. So the government expects this to improve accountability and build better rural assets, while farmers should see easier labor availability when they need it most. So you can post a video and go through this. You can also go all this through these points. Next is the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana Phase 3. The Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has approved the continuation of Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana Phase 3 beyond March 2025 up to March 2028. So Phase 3, it is a centrally sponsored rural road development program that focuses on the consolidation and upgradation of existing true routes and major rural links. So unlike the previous phases that focus on new connectivity, Phase 3 it aims to strengthen the roads that link rural habitations to essential socio-economic centers. So Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana was launched in the year 2000 on December 25. So phase one was the foundational stage of this flagship program designed as a 100% centrally sponsored scheme to eliminate rural isolation, and phase three was originally launched in July 2019. The ministry is Ministry of Rural Development, and the aim of phase three is to consolidate 1,25,000 kilometers of rural road routes to improve movement of people and goods, to connect rural habitations to Grameen agricultural markets, higher secondary schools and hospitals, to boost the rural economy by reducing transportation time and costs for agricultural and non-farm products. So the key features of the continuation of approval includes this. For plain areas, completion of roads and bridges extended till March 2028. For hilly areas, the continuation of roads extended till March 2028, while the timeline for bridges is extended till March 2029 due to geographical challenges. Revised financial outlay, the budget has been increased from 83,977 crore from the original 80,250 crore to account for pending works and cost escalations. Work sanctioned before March 31st, 2025, which were previously unawarded, are now authorized for tender and award. Next, Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. It was launched on 1st of July 2015 with the motto Har Khet Ko Pani, which means water for every farm. Pradhan Mantri Uchitar Shiksha Abhiyan, that is PM Usha, okay? It is a centrally sponsored scheme. It was launched in the year 2023, okay, to transform higher education in India. It is PM Usha, it is a revamped version of RUSA, okay? RUSA was launched in the year 2013. So the objective is to improve overall quality of existing state higher educational institutions. So these are the components of PM OSHA, that is multidisciplinary education and research universities, grants to strengthen universities, accredited and unaccredited universities, grants to strengthen colleges, accredited and unaccredited colleges, new model degree college, gender inclusion and equity initiatives, management, monitoring, evaluation, and research. Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act 1985. So this act, it prohibits any individual from engaging in any activity consisting of the production, cultivation, sale, purchase, transport, storage, and or consumption of any narcotic drug or psychotropic substance. So narcotic drugs means coca leaf, cannabis, opium, poppy straw, and includes all manufactured drugs. And psychotropic drugs, it means any substance, natural or synthetic, or any natural material, or any salt or preparation of such substance or material included in the list of psychotropic substances specified in the schedule. One Adenium, 1980. It was formerly known as Forest Conservation Act 1980. So this act, it regulates the diversion of forest land for non-forestry purposes such as infrastructure, mining, and industrial activities. Central Armed Police Forces. So this is a collective name of Central Police Organization in India under the authority of Ministry of Home Affairs. So they are technically paramilitary forces. They were formerly known as Central Paramilitary Forces, but since 2011, India adopted the term Central Armed Police Forces to drop the word paramilitary. So these forces are responsible for internal security and guarding the borders. CAPF refers to seven security forces. They are Assam Rifles, Border Security Force, Central Industrial Security Force, Central Reserve Police Force, Indo-Tibetan Border Force, National Security Guard, Shastra Seema Bal. So each of the seven has its own cadre of officers, but they are headed by officers of the Indian Police Service. National Security Act 1980. It is a preventive detention law that allows the central and state government to detain individuals without formal charges or trial. It was enacted by the Indian Parliament on September 23, 1980, and it empowers authorities to detain individuals without formal charges up to 12 months, extendable with fresh evidence. So what is anticipatory bail? So it is a pre-arrest legal safeguard provided under the Code of Criminal Procedure, which now comes under Section 482 of BNSS. So this anticipatory bail, it allows a person to seek bail in anticipation of arrest for a non-bailable offense. So it is preventive in nature and distinct from regular bail, which is sought after arrest. So it was recommended by the Law Commission of India to protect citizens against arbitrary or malafide arrest. National Register of Citizens. It is a record containing the names of genuine Indian citizens residing in the country. It is an effort by the Indian government to identify and deport illegal immigrants as mandated by the Citizenship Act of 1955, Foreigners Act of 1946, and Passport Entry into India Act 1920. The only time a nationwide NRC was created was in the year 1951 after the census of 1951. At present, only Assam has such National Register of Citizens mandated and monitored by the Supreme Court in the year 2014. So the nodal agency for National Register of Citizens is the Registrar General and Census Commissioner. Since the NRC was implemented in Assam, there has been a growing demand for its nationwide implementation. From here on, it will consist of various sections which was in the news regarding IPC, BNS, BNSS, or POXO. Okay, so you can go through this. And here is a question for you. The Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act came into force in which year? Okay, will comprehensively deal with the issue of sexual offences against children, and which law replaced the Indian Penal Code 1860. So we can go through all these sections. The government of Nagaland has notified that 1,313 members of the Rongmai tribe permanently settled in the state, along with their direct descendants, may be issued ST certificates with a caveat. So these certificates will be valid only for availing reservation benefits in the central government employment and Central Education Institute. And this certificate shall not entitle the said, that is the 1,313 members of the Rongmai tribe and their direct descendants, any reservation, concessions, or benefits specially reserved for scheduled tribes indigenous to the state of Nagaland. So, which constitutional amendment bifurcated the combined National Commission for Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes into two separate ones? So, these are some must-known facts for exam. So, you can go through this. So, these are some of the articles which was in the news: Article 355, Article 21, Article 29, Article 14. So, here is a question for you. The golden triangle in Indian constitutional jurisprudence refers to. So, if you know this answer, good. If you don't know, you try to look up. So, this one here, okay. This article, it was published on 30th of May, and it will be in page 7 of Morning Express. Okay, if you can get a hold of the newspaper, you try to print out or maybe just cut it out, because the article is very important and it is related to POSCO Act, and it had various sections and definitions related to POSCO. Or try to type this article in the Google if you cannot get a hold of the PDF, and see whether the particular article pops up or not. So you can go through this, because I won't be explaining this now. Before we wrap up, I would like to mention one more thing. As always, the videos will remain completely free for everyone. My goal is to make quality current affairs content accessible to as many aspirants as possible. However, for those who would like to get a copy of the PDF notes, the PDF is made available separately. The link to join the Telegram group is mentioned in the description or bio. So once you join the group, you will find all the details regarding how to access the PDF. So this PDF, it is priced at rupees 25. The reason for this is simple. It takes a considerable amount of time and effort to compile the information, prepare notes, verify facts, organize the content, and format everything in a way that is easy to revise and study. The small charge helps support the work that goes into creating these resources every month. That said, whether you purchase the PDF or not, the video content will continue to be available for free, and I hope it helps you in your preparation. Thank you for your continued support. Keep learning, stay consistent, and remember that every small effort you make today brings you one step closer to your goal. See you in the next video. Until then, take care and happy studying.